I wanted to say before we get started, that's not one of them.
Well, there you go.
I actually injured myself.
Okay, so
That's
shaving him. Listen, you piece of shit. Stop falling asleep. Oh, okay.
Calves are the boobs of the legs.
The nose is the cock of the face.
They are to be looked at sometime, not to be looked at.
The thumbnail. Let's back it out.
Back it out.
Back it out.
Oh, fuck.
What about massive?
Massive.
This is massive and I'm boner.
Hey! Put a cork in it.
You can't tell people how to have fun.
Yeah, Will's gonna make this great. It's probably for the best.
Look at
What does that look like?
Yeah, it looks like a dick, Steph.
Don't look happy.
Can you just stick to sex magic? Do you like feet?
They do nothing to me.
What the fuck has happened?
Oh, goodness.
It's gonna happen. Welcome to Good Game welcome to Screenplay. Welcome to Studio H. Welcome to Back Pocket. God, so many failed
You threw
shows.
in some things that didn't even, see the light of day.
Yeah, it got close though. It got
did get
close.
very close.
But I'll tell you what isn't a failure. Back Pocket. We are back, baby, for 2021. It is very exciting to be back with you on stream, in your ear holes, on your ear balls. Eyeballs is what I meant to say.
He's ad-libbing. Quick, he's ad-libbing.
We made it through 2020 in one piece, but I'm not the only one that survived 2020. I am joined by...
You didn't say you're Nick Boy.
I'm Nick Boy.
Gus. New glasses, new attitude, same old embarrassing stories. Don't worry. They're still coming. Next to me.
New embarrassing story.
It's Steph who's so happy to be back here on the couch with her friends. And
Gus without glasses. Shit, I just realised that. Hang on. There it is. Oh, damn. Yeah. Thank you. You'll need my white windowless van if you're going to wear them as well.
It's
Ooh.
uncanny.
can you look at me?
I'm going to put it out there.
You're a different person.
I know.
Glasses.
We saw that in the Acroash.
You become a lawyer.
Yeah. This is a compliment to you. Glasses don't work for you. And that means you look great without
He's
them.
probably going to
But
have to wear
I was going to say, that was
hold on
a
to
dick
these.
move.
Age
Hold on,
finds
please.
us all.
By the time he needs them, he's so young. By the time he needs glasses, we'll have something new. Yeah.
Sure.
I get LASIK.
Ever say to someone, that looks bad on you? Because what if
Remember
he
he
walked
said
in
it
next
was
week
a
and was
compliment.
Yeah.
That looks bad on
What did I say? New glasses, same old foot in my mouth and my foot. My foot in my mouth. Damn it. Can we start again? Yeah.
Steph, I was going to say, it must be nice knowing that if something terrible happens to Pete, you've got a replacement. But I think you might just choose a single life over that.
Ready?
But it's not just us here as well, because we are joined by the newest full-time member of the Loki Productions team, which therefore means he has been co-opted into Back Pocket as well. We are joined by Little Will. Little Will, say hello.
Hello, I'm Little Will. I am the
Where is he?
voice
Jesus.
of the studio.
Oh, wow. It's a very calming, soothing studio voice. I imagined our studio voice would be more of a Bobcat Goldthwait, kind of just totally freaking out, being like, what are you guys doing? We're not meant to be in here now.
What, live? Who said we're going live?
I didn't know that reference.
Nice.
So Will has officially joined the team full-time. So congratulations, Will, for, now getting paid super. And your tax handled by someone else.
And I think the plan is to get Will a proper mic over there. He's got a mic.
He's got a mic.
Oh, you are voice from
him.
Godding?
Yeah.
You got it sorted.
He's got
I spaced out. I didn't know he was doing it. That's great. Good stuff.
Okay. That's why we got Will
There'll
here.
be a lot of that going on today.
Yep.
There will be. Is that sorted?
The answer will most of the time be no.
Thank you, Blake, for the subscription as well on Twitch Prime. If you got those free Twitch Primes, send them our way. I can't say from Mr. Bezos anymore.
No.
He's stepping down.
Do we know the new guy's name is like, he's got a surname that rhymes with saucy
No
or
one's going to
something?
remember.
No one cares.
No
one
Like,
cares.
We'll still call them Bezos subs, I
Yeah.
think. So,
Yeah.
if you've got one because you've got an Amazon Prime account, chuck it our way. You're not going to give it to anyone else who's going to appreciate it the way we do.
My
And half of it will go to Jeff's retirement package.
Exactly.
My father's called Jeff, so yeah, kind of.
My favorite tweet about the Bezos thing was Jeff Bezos steps down as Amazon CEO to become full-time Bond villain. I was like, yeah, that's pretty spot on. We're back. We are excited to be back, and this is the first show of the year. You've seen us a little bit before this. We've done a few gameplay live streams. We've done some WandaVision stuff. We've done quite a bit of content for a show that hasn't been on air for the month of January.
And fun new stuff too.
Fun new stuff as well. It's all
New
very
year,
exciting.
new us, but also a little bit the same.
Mostly the same.
Same. But at the top of the show, we did just want to run through a little bit of housekeeping for some of the big things that have changed, and things will continue to change over the course of the year. But just getting this one out of the way at the top, there have been some slight tweaks to the Patreon. So we are a Patreon, primarily funded by Patreon show. Without your guys' support on Patreon, this show does not exist. So we love the fact that you are supporting us on Patreon. What we didn't love is that some of the tiers we created in the beginning, we kind of went, oh, these aren't necessarily working for us the way that we want
I
these.
think it all went very smooth considering no one here has done a Patreon before, and we didn't do the thing where we started with one tier and we built up. We decided to build a whole catalog, and you guys have shown amazing support by being able to support us through those tiers. I think, but we locked ourselves into them, and we thought this is the best time to do it. We've been away for a while. We've had a rethink, we're rejig, and we've looked at the best options that I think are going to benefit you guys and that will benefit us and that will allow us to give you guys the most for your buck.
Yeah, it's about seeing what people respond well to, and
Totally.
if something doesn't. We want people to be able to subscribe to a tier that is giving them the best possible thing for their money.
Sustainability also for you guys and also for the things we might have to make
Synergy.
and then promise and keep making and will make. But there are promises. Nick, take it from here.
Smooth. So we'll just go through the things that have changed. Most of it is staying the same, but there are some significant tweaks. So the first one being we've actually opened up the Discord. The Discord is now free to join for anybody. If you are not a member of the Patreon, but you join the Discord, you only get access to a couple of channels. I think it's the Pocketeer Club and...
Join and find out.
Yeah, there's one other one.
of bits and
it's
pieces.
like if there are 30 channels in there, you get access to 2 or 3 of them. But if when you join at the $5 tier, which is previously was to get the access to the Discord, it now unlocks the entire Discord. So I guess I'm saying that you can tell your friends, hey, go join this Discord that I'm a part of, and then they'll see and they'll be like, oh, these people are all really nice, and then they'll join at that $5 tier and unlock everything.
I feel like it's a nice way for people to sort of understand what's so wonderful about the Back Pocket Discord community by experiencing a little taste of it themselves. Otherwise, they're like, why would I sign up to something when I don't even know that it's that good?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. And the Pocketeers Club as being one of those channels is a good thing because that's like just the stream of consciousness, like friendly chat stuff. So
None of the sweet niche stuff.
Oh, yeah. And, we've got, of course, we appreciate all the support we can get. We know there's some people out there who can't afford to, and that's fine. And we felt like they were only able to interact with us on Twitter and Instagram and stuff, and not with each other as well. And so now everyone's on the Discord. There's a few places to hang out, and then you can see everything else that's going on, just not interact with it. So.
And as someone, using this again as a point of reflection to what we've done in the last 6 months, which has felt like a year, but I didn't understand how big Discord could be as an area for people to contribute and to have so many different avenues to discuss and post and share and all that kind of stuff. I just assumed it was it's a VoIP thing that had a few threads on the side because that's the only way I'd ever used it. And it's just been really delightful seeing that it's just blossomed into this just full network of communication and lines that people have got between each other and they bounce between channels. And I'm just kind of again, I don't engage.
Befuddled is what you are. Every week, you're like,
Learns about Discord.
Old man.
I'm the same. I'm the same. It took me so long. I was like, this is what the young kids are using, and I'm not interested. And
Yeah.
then once I realized how great it was, I was like, I'm cool. I'm hip.
And so, like, I think for people seeing anyone who might not understand entirely, like myself, that Discord, like, can be that, it's like, this is a nice way to get in there and see what is available, and that it can be a really fun place to be. So
this is a gateway Discord.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's a gateway.
And so then once you've entered the Gateway Discord, you're like, oh, what's this about? Oh,
That's how we get you.
You guys do some VODs? That's interesting. We do VODs. We do some YouTube playback videos that go on YouTube. At the $10 tier, you're going to get everything you normally get. You're also going to get 48-hour early access to our playback VODs. And at the moment, and we reserve the right to change the days on this, but at the moment, that means you're going to be getting access to playbacks on Sunday afternoon evenings, and then everybody else on YouTube will get access to those on Tuesdays. So you get 2 days. Gus, 2 days? 48 hours is 2 days.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know if I
2
believe
days.
it yet. Yep.
The best moment in the entire holiday.
Well,
we
let's-
were discussing about how we would make this change.
Post show? It's embarrassing enough.
I started the story. I feel like
yeah, okay, fair call.
But we were discussing, what changes should we make to it? We thought maybe this would be good, giving some early access. And Pete and I both basically said at the same time, 48 hours feels like a good one. And then Gus goes, what about 2 days? And then we just looked at him. And then I started crying with laughter and I collapsed into Pete's arms.
Because
Gus
there's
was
this
like,
moment, right? Like, there was this moment where it's like, he's obviously making a joke, and it's a fine, it's like, it's an okay joke.
It's a fine
It's a throwaway joke. We don't need to react to that. And then the look on his face betrayed that, no, he was being deadly serious.
He said, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And then we were cry laughing.
It was incredible.
That's why I bought these bigger glasses to make me brainier.
So you're going to get 40-hour early access to that. It'll be an unlisted video, and then that'll just go public to everybody.
And I think
else.
hopefully, like at the moment, they're the playback VODs that we'll be doing weekly.
Yep.
We're hoping to make more content that might be direct to YouTube or a VOD platform like that. So hopefully we can start doing that. It'll be to all the VODs that we do as well, but we have yet to make them.
Totally. The next thing on that change is that $10 tier will also get access to the word from our sponsor perks. That was previously $25 tier. So that means that you can now send in word from our sponsors, those videos that play out throughout the show. So you can send those in from the $10 tier. Now, the big one is you guys have been asking for merch for ages. And we've been going, yeah, we'll do merch. We totally want to do merch. Let's do merch. We've decided to start doing merch. We finally had a bit of time to be able to dedicate some brain space to it. We're doing merch in 2 ways. The first way is there is a Redbubble store live right now that you can go to redbubble.com/people/backpocket, and you can get some back pocket merch. We've started off small and pretty simple with this stuff, but we are going to be adding to it constantly. We'll let you guys know when new stuff comes. At the moment, Gus, do you want to talk us through what you have made?
Sure. I think one of the things to note is that Redbubble, I think traditionally is like you upload a design and then people can choose to put it in different places. So it's a generic design. I think we like the idea of doing things that are a bit more bespoke that fit certain products. So that's what we'll be doing and hopefully creating new designs that fit these specifically. So I believe at the moment these are all locked to particular products. First and foremost is the decal that we did last year for the Intel Back Pocket PC giveaway.
Yep.
You are now able to get that little decal as a magnet or as a sticker.
We've got one on our fridge.
We literally have
In
one
the
on our
studio.
fridge. It is a sticker. I mean, maybe don't put a magnet on your computer. I think that's just general,
A light magnet.
A light
that'll
magnet
be fine.
never hurt
Just
any-
don't rub it up your hard drive.
There you
lots.
go. So that is available now, and you can do that one as a sticker as well, I believe, or maybe just a magnet. We're still working this out as we go, but that should be available as that. But if you do like yourself some stickers, we also have a sticker collection.
Beautiful.
There it is.
The pockety,
I love that.
pockety stickers, which are pretty adorable.
This is
and
the best.
This
thing
was
you've
great
ever
when I
done.
worked out you can do a sheet of stickers.
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend at least a large or extra large because the smalls look a little.
The smalls look a little shit.
The smalls are
White.
more white paper than they are sticker. So I recommend those. We've also got something very in season at the moment, and that, of course, is face masks. Folks in Melbourne, feel free to snap one up. If you saw the news this morning, we have a back pockety face mask.
And you have to take a picture of yourself wearing it.
Totally. Which
Horrify all of your neighbors.
which is pretty cute. The same design, I think, is available on a phone case, which is available for Samsung and iPhones as well. I think you just need
There's
to
a drop down for all the models
yeah,
and stuff.
all
yeah,
the different
great.
ones are there.
This is legit. I love the phone case.
It's cute. I'm going to get one. I think you can get like soft snap or tough, like durable cases as well.
Getting one as
Make sure you get the right one for your phone. And finally, because you all love mugs,
The piece de resistance.
the piece de resistance is a back pocket mug. We thought we'd go with the sleepy pockety design because he already holds a mug. And of course, you'll see
on the back?
there's the front, the pocket, and then the back is the butt. So Pockety's anatomy has had an upgrade.
It's a shiny butt.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
shiny toned butt.
It is.
Yeah, Pockety got back.
Squats.
Should have been called that. Pockety got back or something. There's
It's
something in
tight.
there.
It's a tight butt.
It's a tight little butt, and that will now be law in all
I love how
future-
matter-of-factly you say it's a tight little butt.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Will
It's a
was
tiny
here
little butt.
as I was drawing it, and I spent like a good 10 minutes getting the shine right. And it's like in the flick of the stylus. So I was
Were
like,
you wearing those glasses and leaning over your
yeah.
screen as well?
Yeah.
I think
Was it all about the glove as well?
The glove
to
was
get
there,
that
and it was
fluid
like
motion?
the flick, and I couldn't get the shine right.
And I think he was like, Will, take your pants off. See how light works on blue skin.
Now clench them.
So all that stuff is available on the Redbubble store right now. The mug in particular is genius. But yeah, we'll be adding tons of that stuff throughout the year to the store, and we'll let you know when new stuff gets added. But then there is a second way that we are doing merch as well, because this is like the store that you can go buy something. But then we wanted to do something more special, something more bespoke, unique, whatever kind of word you want to use for that. And so we have added a new tier to the Patreon, and that is the Wear Back Baby tier. This is a $35 tier. And with this tier, for every consecutive 3-month period that you subscribe to this tier or above, you will receive a custom back pocket gift merch. We're looking at t-shirts, hoodies, shirts, bags. It'll be a different thing every 3 months. We will be custom designing these live on stream in the same way that we've been doing the POC arts, that we've been doing like that Intel design thing.
Yep.
So these are going to be original Gus artworks. These are going to be total reference in joke, 100% just like really niche stuff, but it will be exclusive to Patreon. We will not be selling these anywhere else. The only way you can get this stuff is by subscribing to that tier or above on Patreon. And every 3 months, a new piece of merch will drop. It will be sent directly to your home. If it's clothing, you can pick the size, and it'll just get sent straight to you. And then once it's done, it's done. We're not selling it anywhere. We're not doing it again. It's just over. And so that's how you get this stuff. And it will be I'm really looking forward to it because it's going to be like a community thing to put this stuff together, and it's going to be so much fun to actually produce it.
People are asking if the higher tiers get access to this also.
So they do. The way that Patreon works is I couldn't kind of like put all this stuff on tiers without all of you start getting notified before the show. So we I put the $35 tier live just before we went to air. I will update the next tiers after this. And so any tier above 35 and above gets this perk as well.
Yep.
So, yeah. Yep. And so we're also going to be doing, we'll make a channel in the Discord for merch ideas where you guys can put like jokes, references, ideas for stuff. And then we'll pick some of our favorites, and that's what we'll start producing, riffing live on air.
And I think, like, to encourage people they can be references from the show. They don't have to be specifically, but also like product suggestions, where they could go, how they would fit certain designs, and we'll do our best to both design it to fit that, and if we find one we like, and also like place it on the product in that way as well. So be as specific as you want, and both with the in joke and how you feel it would fit a cool design for a bit of merch, and we'll go through that and start putting something together live in front of you guys. No pressure.
Absolutely. And so that is the new tier. And then the final changes that we've made to the Patreon, we're retiring a couple of tiers, but it'll be a bit of a phased reduction for one of them. So the first one is the $25 tier, which the only real perk we had for that was that you could send in a word from our sponsor. That's now on the $10 tier. So 25 is a bit redundant. 35 is the new 25. Inflation.
All the kids are saying it.
Yeah, totally. But we're also phasing out the $50 pickpocket tier. So this is the one where we drew a logo for you guys. A very popular tier. Also a wildly unsustainable tier in terms of just the level of output that we needed to put into creating those logos. A couple of things. We still have a backlog of logos to be done.
Yep.
Those will 100% be done. They will be done in the same way that we've always been doing them, so they will get finished.
They will still be on the show as well. Like,
Totally.
there's a good chance we'll be doing that as a segment regularly as well.
Yep.
For like the 20 odd that
Yeah.
are there. So yeah, we'll definitely be fulfilling all of those.
And so then the logo's like still appearing on the TVs and stuff for the next however long it takes for us to get through this thing, and then a
inconvenient
month
timing.
or two afterwards we'll phase that out
Also
as
there.
well. So what we've done is we're sort of like shadow retired that tier in that no one new can join.
Sunsetting,
That tier.
to use
Sunsetting.
it,
Thank
yeah.
you very much.
Nice.
No one new could join it. If you're still on it, you are welcome to still be on it. If you're still on it, you will get, and you still want to do $50, then I believe you'll get the merch. I'll have to look into that. Maybe I can't add it.
I don't know if we can add it to an unpublished.
Oh, you can't.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so ignore that.
Bail.
If you're on it and you want the merch, drop down to the 35. And if you're on it and we needed you to give you a logo, if you drop down to the 35 now, we'll still do your logo. So you're
We've
not
locked
gonna
all that
lose
away,
out.
so it
Yeah,
stays as like we've got a record of all of that as well. So
totally.
35 is the new 50 as well. is the
Exactly.
new saying.
Yeah. So we've kind of like met
All
in the
the kids
middle
are saying
of
it.
those ones. And so those are the changes. You don't need to have remembered everything that I said because I will post this sort of a more detailed thing on Discord tomorrow with all these changes. But that is the changes to the Patreon. We're hoping that moving forward, there's a tier for everybody. And also, if you can't subscribe, that's totally fine. You can just watch us.
Yeah.
You can just watch us because we're fucking free on the internet. That's just how the internet works.
Totally.
It's like free-to-air television, but the internet.
Amazing.
But the thing you're watching is us talking about the Patreon. So it's like
That's the whole show now.
that's the show now. So that was it. Yeah. Thanks, guys. We got it.
All right, we'll see you in the post show.
The post show is now the bulk of the show. Oh god.
So if you have any questions, I will attempt
Agree.
to answer them on the Discord. If you have any more questions, wait a couple of days. With the particularly with the merch tier, obviously the 3 consecutive month thing needs to get required. That's a Patreon thing, so we're running it through Patreon. We don't have control over that stuff. So there may be some quirks in that system that we just need to work our way through that. We can't affect it, but it will last like we have the whole month to figure this system out, and any quirks that we need to iron out before it sort of like officially ticks over and counts February. So,
And I think like we'll be picking the design and the product, and that's it every 3 months. So we'll be returning to that. But yeah, as you said, our involvement stays exclusively just that.
to the design, yeah, exactly. Whereas Patreon do all the printing, fulfillment, and everything, and we're just going to see how that goes. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, should we jump into the show proper?
Should we start a show?
Should we start a show? Let's start a show.
I'd love that. I think it sounds great.
Now I feel like now we need the titles to roll. It's like we should have had a pre. No!
I'm just saying, guys, what y'all been playing? This, of course, is everyone's favorite segment brought to you by Brent Jones, aka LokiCat. LokiCat, a beloved sponsor of our program for so many months. LokiCat is still on board. He was worried he wasn't going to get a t-shirt. You're getting a t-shirt, mate. And your little bird, too. Actually, you can put your t-shirt on your bird and see what happens. What do you reckon LokiCat did over the holidays?
I mean, like, I want to think it's all bird focused for me because you said his little bird, so I just thought like maybe it was a lot of bird care, bird management.
Yep.
Maybe considered upgrading,
Bird watching,
bird watching,
bird conservation.
twitching, which is literally looking at birds.
Yep.
I only learned that recently.
Really? Yeah. And you look at one from one of those little hutches that has a name that I will know because it's
Aviary.
A hutch.
no, it's got a hunting term, but I'll get to that later. I'm segueing.
Oh,
ahead.
interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh, a little tease. A little tease there. All right. This is where we talk about the games that we've been playing. It would normally be over the last week, but we're going to say over the last month or so. Anything significant that's popped for us? Steph, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. Well, we've been playing Phasmophobia again.
Here we go again.
Well, I just think it's such a great game, but I want to talk about it again because they've made some changes to it, a few little cheeky changes that have made it even better. They've added a new map, which is the prison, which is cool because it's quite large. There's lots of jail cells and it's super creepy, but it also has a bunch of different like control rooms and stuff that you can like turn on lights and stuff in certain areas and like mess with people or, you know, make it less scary for you while you're ghost hunting, which is good. They've improved the visuals and stuff.
Oh, good.
Like it's still
Not
like
a whole lot.
it's still really janky and your characters still look like they're on a weird seesaw, but like I think the facial features and sort of character models are better, and also when someone dies, I feel like that animation is a little bit more.
Oh, that was my favorite.
You kind of see them grab their neck and go.
Yeah.
They almost
then
look
they
like they're yeah.
Yeah. It's great. Probably the cool, and they've done some cool stuff. Like they've added some audio effects. Like when we're walking through, like the asylum, for example, there's a cool like echo effect on the voices and stuff that makes it just feel like a larger, scarier, spookier space. The coolest thing I think they've done is they've changed previously when you died, because when you play Phasmophobia, you don't use Discord traditionally. You use the in-game
Voice chat.
Like
proximity chat.
Yeah, there's proximity chat, and then you have like a radio that you can use when you're far apart from each other. And that way, when someone dies, suddenly they just disappear and you don't hear them, and they're just dead. And so if you were that player that died, then you're kind of just like walking around for the rest of the game. There's not a lot you can do.
But you walked around in like a kind of ghost
Limbo.
Yeah, like
a
a ghost plane of the same place.
Yeah.
Now,
But you still can't pass through walls or move any faster. So you're like,
You're just a shit person.
dying was for nothing.
yeah. But now you have communication with other people that have died in that realm.
Right.
And you can also pick things up, and none of the ghost hunting equipment, so you can't like help the other players.
But you can knock some stuff over there.
Yeah.
Nice. So you can
So you can-
poltergeist it. And
Yeah.
Right.
Which is super unhelpful to your teammates who are still trying to solve it, but it makes it very fun for you while you're doing
I was going to say, is the
Throwing
only
coffee
reason
cups
to do
around.
that is to troll, because like if you're still hunting a ghost and suddenly something knocks over, you're
Well, you could also use it as a way to try and communicate.
sure.
Indicate, look
somehow.
over here.
Yeah.
But
But there's
you-
nothing in the
you-
dead realm that like it doesn't give you more insight into what the poltergeist or the ghost is doing.
Yeah, okay, right.
So it's like you're just throwing.
You should be able to go up to walls and type text onto it, but it all comes out backwards. So you just end up doing red rumming all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Just a
That's
suggestion.
pretty cool. So yeah, I still love it. I still really want to play a whole bunch more of it. I think at the moment the only issue is that if we're playing with people of a lower level, then we can't choose higher level areas. And we're just so good at it now. We just need to be playing the...
Is the new map locked out unless you've got a certain level?
No, there's just like you get served when you start a server. You get served like 3 maps and the difficulties attached to them based on the monster that's there.
right.
So then you just
Right.
pick one of those, and I don't think it gives you professional tier ones for people who are low level.
Got it.
But I would say the game is at its best with newbies. Like as soon as you get comfortable with the systems,
Yeah.
it becomes a game about doing the mechanics properly.
Yeah. But I think that's
So-
also because we've been primarily doing like lower level stuff. Every time...
I've done professional stuff with Reese, and it was easy.
Yeah,
Reese is saying, Pro, have you been playing with Avexia as well?
Yeah.
We-
Yeah, because
introduced
Avexia is saying that
yeah.
he feels attacked, and he's sorry that he's low level.
Oh, no, it's not a fault of you being low level. I just mean that they should give us the freedom to choose the difficulty we want and then just see what happens, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and then it's just on us. So yeah.
Since Avexia's just left the Patreon as well. So
Interesting. Yeah, right.
Fair enough.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, and then the other game I've been playing is Ark Survival Evolved,
Wow.
which I never ever thought that I would play.
Why?
Why have I been playing it?
Yeah.
Or why did I never think I would play it?
Well, both.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of survival games in general. I find them just a little bit, like, grindy.
Yep.
Some people really, really love them, but I think for the most part, and it's so funny, as soon as I started posting screenshots from it, I just got an influx of messages from people saying, I own this, I've never played it, or I own this, I booted it and played it for like an hour and got frustrated and never touched it
Ate my own
again.
poop and then uninstalled.
Yeah, which I totally get. It's a really, when you log in, my first session was me just trying to find my friends, and I died twice and on that journey, and then by the time I got to the camp, I was like, okay, I'm finally here, I can craft some clothes and then go out and explore, and then I died again, and my body was like underneath a Tyrannosaurus Rex that I was just like, well, I guess I'm never getting that stuff back. So I was really frustrated at first, but I think it's, you really need, it's one of those games you just need a core group of people.
Yeah, totally.
You know, you can't, it's not something that I would recommend really playing by yourself, and you need a decent group of people who are kind of willing to grind out those first, few sessions to give yourself, I mean, this is every survival game, I guess.
Yeah.
To give yourself a fortification to protect yourself and enough resources to, like, when you die, it's not the end of the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
Once you-
It becomes a different. There's so many different stages to a survival game, and like that first stage is fun in itself. Of like how do I even cut a tree down? How do I make how do I make the axe to do it?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, I'm making rudimentary things and I'm getting killed and have to restart. And then it's annoying collecting the mats, but you get that sense of achievement when you build your first thing. And then it's like, oh, now I'm in the Bronze Age.
The sense that the game changer with this is when you start taming dinosaurs.
Of course.
So once
The Bronze Age.
Yeah, once you start taming dinosaurs,
Age.
it's like you have this like militia of like hectic mounts that you can just send out into the wild and can also protect you if anything, comes for your little village. And it was just like the first, I'm fortunate to be playing with people who are like dedicated to the grind. So every time I log in, it's like, oh, you've built a friggin' castle. So suddenly I logged back in and it was like they'd tamed maybe like some raptors and a stegosaurus and a triceratops.
Can I just ask, how is the mechanic of taming? Because I haven't played it anywhere near as much as
If they're
this.
small, you just kind of like creep up behind them and give them some berries.
Sure.
If it's
Why behind them and then give them some berries without them knowing? And
there are different types of berries, and one of them is called a narco berry.
Yep. Okay.
And you tranquilize them,
Right.
and then you have to give them whatever their like chosen food is.
You slip them a roofie.
Yeah, you slip them a roofie, then you give them their like favorite cake or something. Actually, the snails eat cake. It's just don't ask me why.
All right. Do they even have cake back in the? Oh, it's not back, is it? It's kind of weird.
It's like a weird archy
it's like dedicated to being a dinosaur world, but then there'll just be random stuff that just doesn't make sense.
It's the concept that like the dinosaurs were put on an ark that was sent into space and that's come back down, and that's why there's future tech, but also
Yeah.
It has one of the funniest, if you go to the Microsoft store or something and look at the 5 screenshots that sell the game, they look like they're from 5 different games.
Yeah.
It's like it's a janky survival game, a full and amazing dinosaur survival game, and one that looks like a Killzone modern space shooter, and you're like, okay.
Yeah. It's crazy. There are also like tech dinosaurs, so just mechanical ones that you can tame, but they function the same as the other dinosaurs. You can also capture... So the joy of the game, honestly, is just finding new species.
Sure.
So whether it be a dinosaur or something else, like it was so funny, we had all these dinosaurs that we'd sort of tamed and had in a big enclosure, and then I saw some kind of prehistoric horse, and I was like, a horse! And everyone was like, where? And we were just so excited to catch the horse, and I was like, this is a realm with every kind of dinosaur you can imagine, and we're excited about a pony. But it was just, as soon as you see something new, you're like, I must have it. And it's so exciting and fun, and then you can paint them hilarious colors, then you can make them mate.
Animal cruelty.
You can make that. You can breed them.
This is great.
And then you have like this whole like menagerie of like romance and breeding and babies, and we've got like a wolf pack that's currently like, and when the wolf pack is together, they have like a buff and they howl. It's really, and you can ride them. You can ride the giant wolf across the plain. Mm-hmm. It's really like beautiful Jurassic and fun Bridgerton. And weird. Yeah.
Just setting up couples.
Yeah.
I really I put a decent amount of time into Ark when it came out. I'm sure it's changed a ton, but like out of all the survival games, it was the most fun for me. I think that because of the dinosaurs, because it just got ridiculous that you could, and T-Rexes storming through your base and stuff, and it's just like, that's really fun.
It's crazy because you get to a point where you feel really confident that you have everything in hand and you're kind of like good at killing things, even if they're kind of overpowered, and you've got like a decent amount of dinos, on your side, but things can change in a second, and they just creep up on you in the most intense way. And I took a pterodactyl to the side of a mountain to mine a particular material that I wanted, and I was just like chatting to everyone as I did it, and like a pack of 3 raptors just appeared and murdered me and the pterodactyl, which belonged to someone else.
Oh, it was a rental.
It was bad.
Good, yeah. Did you take out the insurance before you took it?
I did not.
Awkward.
Dumble, I'm sorry.
Is this the Destiny crew has just kind of pivoted to this?
No,
okay,
different group.
You got so many crews. You got so many crews.
I got a lot of crews.
You're so popular.
Well, it's because I put myself out there, Nick. And if you did that too, I'm sure you'd have lots of crews.
To get that reference, watch the post show. Cool. Ark. Well, I'm excited to hear more about it as we continue.
I can't wait to plan the Ark crew that we're going to put together as a team and never get around to doing it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
it'll be fun.
We're all going to play Ark together. Gus, you're not going to play Ark because you got something finally.
Again, a callback there. Gus finally got his hands on a PS5. Thank you to Nick jumping on the thread that saw them suddenly pop up. But
on stream.
On stream, yeah. So I think I had to start following a Twitter bot that was spamming all the sellers in Australia. So if you're still trying to hunt one down, thank you to whoever it was who sent me that link. I've forgotten your name, but heaps of people were being really generous and linking them. And then I'd look at the Discord a month later or a week later and be like, nope, they're gone. So PlayStation 5 and have been jumping into Demon Souls, the thing I've just been really keen to finally play. And I am not disappointed in any way whatsoever. I'm having an absolute ball. It is ticking every box that I love from the Dark Souls series, which is, it is just so, just dark fantasy with no context. I'm just really enjoying that again. There wasn't as much of that in Dark Souls 3, your Bloodborns, and your
What do you mean by that? Are you saying they were dark fantasy with too much context?
They were too
just
bright fantasy.
They were. No, they were just trying to add more layers to this is the original, the OG.
You're a simple man who likes simple things.
Very much so. And so this is just a nice...
That's a compliment, by the way.
And so, yeah, it's been delightful. I was concerned that it would feel like you're seeing the framework of how those later games came about.
Yep.
Are we done? Are we good? And I heard a lot of people talk about that, and I thought maybe part of me is not going to enjoy it because I'm going to see the blueprint here and, I've done this, but better in future games. But at the moment, I'm still really enjoying that. The graphical upgrade is just insane. Having played Demon Souls on my PS3 up to a certain point, I'm now up to that point, and everything I'm discovering now is new, and I haven't seen at all, so it is just stunning in that regard. It
was a bastard of a game on PS3 as well. Like, it just
really
ran like a dog.
Yeah, it wasn't great in that regard.
You're getting the better version of it for sure.
Yeah, in that sense, I'm loving it. It's been so long since I've played a Souls-like that I'm shit at it again, which is even better because it's meaning I'm like stumbling on some really simple stuff. I'm getting frustrated and charging ahead and racing to get my souls and getting killed, and I'm thinking, no, this is not how you play these games. So it's been nice to sort of step back and relearn how to play those games again. And not a lot on the PS5 for a lot of people who are finally getting one. It's like, it's nice to have this really meaty game with so much ahead of me to explore. And again, just all those cryptic, stupid characters with dialogue that doesn't make any sense, and that the monumental, and you're going to meet this character and she's like, I'm from this world and that world, and the souls of the demons can only upset your hollow form now. I'm like, it's cool to not know stuff again. It's cool to not have it just expositionally dumped into my mouth at the start of the game, and instead just like lap it up bit by bit as it's drip fed to me.
Have you been
Some
reading
kind of
my
fetish on
Nature's Harvest book?
Yes. So no, I haven't.
I took to it like a dump in the mouth.
Quote on the box. But yeah, really enjoying it. It's good fun. The other game I've been playing a lot of, very awkwardly, is a game that's on Xbox Game Pass at the moment and has been for a long time. It is called The Hunter. Call of the Wild.
The Hunt, Call of the Wild.
It is just The Hunt, Call of the Wild.
Awkwardly because you're awkward or because the game's awkward?
Because it's a game that I didn't think I would ever be interested in.
Las dos.
It is a hunting simulator, an open world hunting simulator.
This is wild.
That just basically the story behind it was that a lot of my friends got Series X's and were like, we want to play games together now. And I was like, this is great. I've got a group of friends of mine that are from Melbourne, where I grew up, who are all playing, and we're like, what should we play together? So we went through Game Pass and we looked for a bunch of co-op games to play together. And we found this one, and there's 5 of us, and it says up to 8 people can go hunting together in an open world. And we're like, let's just download it and see if it's any fun. It turns out to be an incredibly detailed and open survival game. It's not like you're doing a shooting gallery. You are put into these ginormous, almost survival game-esque maps that are stunningly detailed and so well crafted in terms of the sound design and the weather and the foliage and the flora and the fauna. And it's like, I hate hunting. I hate the idea of killing animals.
Yeah,
it just disgusts me. But it's like, this is a game, and I can definitely make that like separation. And you spend so much.
I hate killing people, but I play Call of Duty.
I know. And even as I was watching this footage, I was thinking about the fact that I've just like murdered all these dinosaurs and other things, sometimes by accident, and then just like taken their skin. But like, I think it's something to the fact. I feel like when it's a video game that's kind of presenting you with like a kind of ridiculous scenario.
Sure. Yeah.
Whereas this is simulating a real world scenario.
Yep. I get that.
Like.
I get that entirely. And so it started with us doing it for a lol and running around. The thing is,
What are you hunting?
At the moment, we're in like
Most dangerous game. Man.
Harrison Ford.
small. At the moment, it's like deer and black bears running around. There's 2 maps you get.
Are they killing black bears? Are they a pest? Are they a pest in parts of the world?
They say
Sure, well, yeah, I'm sure to something.
a character in the game says
What do
there's
black
too
bears
many
eat?
of them.
Whatever that is must be pretty
Character
annoyed
in
by
the
them.
game
Berries?
says there's
Honey.
Too many of them.
Honey pot.
Too many
Lots
of them
honey.
because he just
Honey
doesn't
pop.
like them, or because
I'm just gonna let them finish their bit.
All right.
Done?
We're done.
We haven't done this in a while.
No, there is. Funnily enough, as a single-player game, you can run through. There's levels up. There's a character that's talking to you over radio, giving you quests and things like that. One of them is like there's a crazy survivalist who's tracking some footprints. Go and help him. He decides that someone's stealing from his camp. You can take these stories that aren't even about hunting animals for like the first 5 hours of the game.
I guess I'm okay with it in the context of hunting to like cook and eat it and use every part of the animal. But if it's like, look at all the trophy heads you get.
That's the discussion that my friends and I have been talking about. How we
Right.
we love the idea of only if you had to hunt for necessity and to use all of the animal. And all my friends have agreed about that. And we're like, we know that we're just chasing these stupid little AIs that are really sporadic running around this world to see how well you could hit them and get, and we're all doing it just for the cash to upgrade our weapons and go through it. So we're playing for the gamified.
just all
about the money.
It's
It's all about the money.
But you boil it down, we're playing it for the gamified,
Very realistic though. Like we're talking bullet drop. We're talking like
Yep.
wind. Like
being downwind of the animals, and also the fact that if you start running in the game, you won't see a thing.
Yeah.
A thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and you've got a long draw distance. So all of a sudden you're like slow creep walking with someone around through the bushes, and you look up and there will be
Have you got a little duck whistle?
you can have all the calls. Oh, there's one that we didn't know what it was, and it turns out to be a dying jackrabbit because we thought we were
does that
trying
sound like?
It's like it's terrifying, and we're like,
that
what
last
is this
one.
called? And we just walked around using it.
Wait. Give me one more of those.
Why am I so short?
It's good.
Thank you very much.
Anyway,
Wait a minute. That whistle says Gus making love.
so also if you find the tracking footprints of an animal and you go running after it, if you just run after those footprints, you'll never see it.
Are you looking at footprints in mud, or are you looking at
Trampled
glowy Batman?
It's a video game. They
okay, yeah,
glow,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like depending on your skill on it, you'll see how far you can follow them. So yeah, there is a real patience and playing it really methodically, and there's a great opportunity to be trolling. So you're there hunting something, and your friend will just fire their rifle into the air, and everything will scatter. And you're like, God damn it! So it is weird. It's a strange thing to be playing, but I do like fishing games, hiking games, Death Stranding, all this kind of strange things I haven't done in a game before, and so we're enjoying that. And there's like 8 giant maps, and we've only played one, and we've barely seen any of it. So
Yeah,
we're
cool.
like, this is kind of an interesting thing to kill time.
I like
and
the
animals.
puzzle of
cool.
it. That
There's
like
something interesting in that.
yeah, I can see the appeal to I could see the appeal to hunting.
Yeah.
I think it's abhorrent, but I totally get why people do it. Like
One of your
it
friends
is
will say
a
there's, like-
tactical puzzle.
There's 8 moose over here, and I'm like, wait there, I'll be coming. You're a kilometer away. I'm just going to crawl to you. And it's like, you would think that's frustrating, but it turns into a fun way to play with friends.
totally.
Can I posit that ethical hunting is more ethical than factory farming? I don't really have anything against
probably.
hunting.
Oh yeah,
as a sport.
Sorry, trophy hunting.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
There is an
Hunt all the
unlockable-
deer you want.
There is an unlockable trophy lodge where you can pose all your animals, but it's like
good.
$20 DLC, and we are not buying it.
Do you stuff them?
I don't think there's an interactive.
Can you put them in funny poses?
Do you mean taxidermy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Moving on.
I'm gonna hold.
and then you've been hunting something else.
Yeah, and finally, with that same crew, we've been. Sorry,
M&Ms?
Your mummy.
That's them calling for a hunt. That literally was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Good. Amazing.
And then we've been playing Rainbow Six Siege because, again, it's a game that you can play with squads of 5. So I've just been playing heaps with a full squad of 5. We are nowhere near good enough to play against humans, so we've been playing the terrorist hunt rotation against the AI.
It's the best part of the game.
It is fantastic. And the best thing about it, I still love that they made this decision with this game, is that when you play that rotating playlist, it will pick between terrorist hunt, bomb defusal, hostage, find and collect and hostage keep alive in a room, and different maps. And basically, you don't have a choice whether or not you choose which map with which mode. And it's actually a really good thing to be playing with some friends and go, instead of arguing about let's just play this one map on rotation until we get bored, you kick that playlist off. Okay, we're finally finished with this one. Move on to the next one. You're playing the cool mansion in Italy, and you've got to get a hostage out. And they're modes we wouldn't play normally together, but it's forcing us to do it. And we go through like 5 or 6 rounds, and then we go back to killing deer. But it's a
great game.
It's such a good game, and I've had some friends come in who just don't play shooters, and it's a good game at teaching you to be a good shooter in games, I would say, versus like a Twitch. Like they wouldn't enjoy COD for that reason. So that's a reason.
It's a puzzle. It's a puzzle.
Yep.
Like it's way more of a puzzle than like a running game.
And even on hard difficulty, the AI is still wonky in a fun way to exploit. So that's why we've just been having really good times with that. And going to keep playing that for a lot longer.
Cool.
Nice.
Yes.
Pete, speaking of wonky,
What's wonky about me?
Cyberpunk.
Okay, cool.
Make the link.
Make the link, wonky boy.
Segway. Yeah, I played through Cyberpunk. I know we kind of touched on at the end of last year that we'd been dabbling in it and it was in our game of the year, and we were talking about how like I was about 10 hours in when we had that conversation, and I ended up playing about 70 hours, and I kind of fell in love with it, warts and all.
Really?
It is a beautiful game that doesn't know how to work properly.
Does that just make you sad that it didn't live up to all it could have been?
No, because I think what it is enough. I think it didn't live up to the hype of what everyone wanted it to be, but I still think it's fine as it is.
A game that functions on
So
every platform.
that excluded, right? Like assume it worked perfectly on the platform that you wanted to play it on. Of course it didn't. That sucks that's a bad business move. It's a bad thing for players. It just sucks. I didn't have that. I was fortunate enough to not have any of the game destroying mechanical failures.
And you're playing on the best platform possible. You're on PC, a zooped up PC with everything.
With a
spec'd out.
3090.
Yeah. And so it was a very functional game, and that made me see not just like the code broke here, that this is where the game is bad.
Yeah.
Mechanically by design.
Yeah. Sure.
And where it doesn't live up to what it should have been. So like I'm not looking at any of the technical failures because I fortunately didn't have any of those, but of the design failures there are plenty. It is an old game in many ways. It doesn't the world doesn't live up to even GTA 5's dynamic breathing city. But there's something about it that just really hooked me, and a lot of it is the story. Even though it's the same thing as Fallout 4 of like, you're going to die in 5 minutes. Your son was just taken from you. But what's that over there? Go and get distracted for like 30 hours.
Yeah.
It's that same, like, you have to like suspend disbelief that this story is like urgent because you want to do something dumb, like get in fistfights with a dude who has a grenade for a nose. So it's like...
Oh my God. I need to replay this game.
Yeah. There's so much in it, and you have to fight your way to it. But it's there, and it's like the stories are beautiful, the characters are beautiful. I loved all the side missions. Anytime I got into a mission that I thought was going to be like reasonably bland, I had a character interaction that made it make sense in the world. Like, and I know you, Nick, have problems with like how it painted that world. Like that this cyberpunk future didn't really feel like a future. It felt like it was a future from the 80s.
From the 80s, yeah.
But it just like it has so much humanity in it still, and I really gelled with that, and I found like anytime I booted it up, I kind of fell into the groove of it. The music does a really good job of getting you in there. It's just this soundtrack that just... The soundtrack does more work for the game than I think any other component of the game. Even the narrative and performances, because I don't think Keanu Reeves is particularly interesting as Johnny Reeves, and I think that the game does a bad job. Johnny Silverhand, sorry. Who's Johnny Reeves? No,
well,
Keanu
it's
Reeves.
The two names combined.
It is a portmanteau. But the game struggles to find how to weave this narrative that's really interesting in around this open world game where you go and do something and Johnny's mad at you, but then you have this like moment where like it's like you're about to kiss. Like it becomes this like...
I came across a few of those, and there's this weird like it's like the game doesn't know where your relationship with him is, and has designed two kinds of relationships. There is the main story, which is like the emotional like or like reactive, I'm angry with you, get out of my head stuff. And then there seems to be like all the side quests, he exists like he's been in your head for 70 years and you're a couple. Like
So like there's totally those world breaking moments. And I was lucky that I only got a few of them, and I can see how people, just because I happened upon a reasonably coherent path through the narrative.
Did you mainline most of it, or did you do lots of things?
I totally mainlined it till the point where it's like to the point of no return, which you can get to in like 15 to 20 hours, somewhere in there. And then I was like, well, now I'm just not going to do this mission. And there's the meme of like, meet Hanako at Embers, is like, that was my mission for 45 hours of the game. Because I just ignored it.
That meme is, that's based on the fact that's the last thing you do.
That's the mission, that's the final, like that's the tipping point of the story where it's like, and it gives you a warning.
I was going to say, it gives you that warning saying...
So it's like, well, I won't do that. And then you play another 50 hours of game.
It just sits there like...
And then every time you finish a side quest, it becomes your active quest. So it's like, I'll do one thing and then meet Hanako at Embers. Ignore that.
Right.
So like, that was like... You have to fight against the game to find the joy of it, but like it is there, and I just found it so compelling.
Yeah, and I would say, like I spoke to you, I put some more hours into it, and the advice you gave me, which I thought was really good, was that to sort of lean into, particularly with the skill chains, is to go into like the hacking and really dive deep into the ability to use everything in the world in the way it could be used in a cyberpunky kind of way, in terms of like hacking things for distractions, deep diving through manipulation of code and doing as much of that as possible versus your run and gun, or even like your manipulation or being a cool talk your way out of something. That is the thing I've really enjoyed out of it. The kind of ability to bounce between, like in Watch Dogs Legions and stuff, but like I like how much...
And I think Watch Dogs Legion is better at that as well.
But this feels more like I'm doing it. It feels less like a game doing it, and it feels more like the HUD and the UI and everything. It's like I feel like I'm hacking my way into something through a program, and I really enjoyed that. And again, I agree with the way it's like I have to make myself want to like this way of playing, and then when I'm through that, I'm actually really enjoying it.
And then the only other thing I think it's totally like find your niche and hook in hard. Like it's totally a min-max kind of game. The RPG mechanics of it, you don't just like throw points around. It's like, which is frustrating because it's true of most RPGs, but it feels like I always like to be a little bit of a jack of all trades.
Yes.
And there's so much joy in each of those trees that you just have to ignore, which is frustrating. But that's an RPG thing, and I think you just have to accept that. And when you do, and you really min-max, you go like, I'm a god in this field, in this field alone. And I was like kind of stealth pistol guy and girl, and that was fun. But then when I got to the end of the game, I was like, I wish I'd like, you see videos of people clearing out an entire enemy base from the street just by like hacking into someone and chain reaction murdering everyone because their intelligence is like off through the roof.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing I'll say, because I don't want to just keep talking on and on, but the only other thing I'd say about it is that I found that the ending is so compelling because they're so varied. There's like 5 or 7 paths at the end. There's different ways you can approach the final mission, but the results of that are so different that I don't know how DLC is going to work for the game. I feel like
might just pick up midway.
It could, but
all the events of
it would. Yeah, like if it goes before, they can't really put DLC within that window of like you're dying, which is the whole conceit of the main campaign. So it's like, where do they fit in more story? And there's so many characters that have more to tell. And then there's your character, which comes out the other end of this story in just like entirely different ways. And without spoiling anything, it is compelling that something so different could happen to someone else who plays it.
It's funny because there's tons of people in the chat who are playing it still. or have finished it. And I feel like there was just like after everything that happened with it, the talk and the chatter just fell off. Like I'm listening to you now, I'm like, oh, I don't actually know of hearing too many people who've actually finished the game. So it's interesting hearing that because I haven't finished it. I'm wondering whether or not I will go back. But
I still intend to play it, but I think because I've missed the kind of initial, everyone plays it at the same time when it's released, I may as well now just wait for the PS5 version.
the good version.
It's been interesting.
And play it. Because at the moment, like, it's still, the PS4 version was still crashing on PS5 for me, like every 30 minutes.
The thing about that is that it was the PS5 version was a PS4 emulated version being emulated on the PS5, just upgraded in there. So it wasn't a native PS5 version of it.
No, it definitely wasn't a
so it's
PS5 version of the game. But yeah, I've spoken to other people who were playing it on their PS5 and it was fine. So I don't know what the difference is, but I just know that if I'm going to wait for that to be patched, then I may as well wait for the version of the game that's going to look better and then have the full experience.
It has been funny just seeing the consensus online as well. This is one of those times that the whole internet seems to have agreed unanimously. They're like, we'll wait a bit. And it's like they've waited so long. A lot of the advice being thrown around by reviewers and people commenting on it is like, this is the kind of game that maybe just cool your jets for 6 more months and it could be perfect again.
Yeah.
Maybe that's come from the fact that everyone has been forced to wait so long up until this point that now having to make that decision themselves to say, I'm not going to play this now, I'm going to wait even longer
And yet, like, Grim Pixel, 150 hours. Infinity Man, 140 hours. Faith and 250 hours into this game. Like, so many people in the chat are like, I've been playing this game. I've been really enjoying this game. Yeah, so I'm glad that the narrative holds up as well, because for me, that was the thing that was, like, pulling me through, because I went, oh, actually, the gameplay's not at all interesting to me for the first 15 hours that I played, but the narrative was...
Well, you're at the end.
But the narrative was the thing that was sort of pulling me through, so, I'm glad it holds up.
And I think, like, you would have... If you just played the narrative, you could finish the game in about 20-something hours.
Yeah.
And it would be hard, and that could be fun.
Yep.
The fact that I did all the side stuff made me pretty strong going into the end missions, and then it was like not a cakewalk, but pretty simple.
Oh, that meetup at the cafe he had went smoothly.
It was
or whatever it was. Are they still calling?
They are.
serious?
They want to hunt.
I thought I put it on.
They want to hunt.
How do you feel about the fact that
It's
they
on silent.
clearly don't watch the show as well?
Yeah, no, right.
Or maybe they do, and this is just their way of trolling.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Pete.
But you've been playing something else.
I've been playing something close to
Excellent.
your heart.
Yes.
You say excellent.
Paradise
I say,
Killer.
No.
I've been playing Hitman 3 as well, and Hitman 3 is the first Hitman game I've played of the new batch. We covered it on Pocket, OG Pocket, and I saw you play it and was like, I should play that, and then I never did. So I've played through all 5 missions in Hitman 3, and I've played through a couple of them a few times, and I think it's cool, and I think it is okay.
Yep.
I think I love the idea of that first playthrough being really tense because you feel like a fish out of water. You feel like there's so many options and you just have no idea how you're going to approach it. And then from the second go, you're like, this is my home.
Yeah.
And like I'm in control here, and I'm just going to go over here and do this and over there and get this screwdriver.
Yeah.
And do this. And then like it just like it becomes a puzzle game, and like there's beauty in that. I guess I'm disappointed that it mechanically often feels a bit like jarring and stagnant, and like cutting like you put someone in a cupboard and it's like cuts to put in cupboard kind of stuff that doesn't have a persistent flow. It stops.
Yeah,
put on
I
clothes
totally
and
know
stuff
what
like
you mean.
that.
Yep.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't know how else do you put on clothes in a video game. Like it's just without a little quick cutscene.
Yep.
But it just like it turns it into a puzzle game and not like a world game. Which kind of for me, I was like, this is going to be a cool James Bond thing, and then it's like, if James Bond played out like this, I'd be disappointed that the flow keeps breaking.
Yeah.
But that's like an unfair criticism because I think what it does what it sets out to do beautifully. And it's really fun to jump back into those sandboxes. I don't own the other games, so I've only got those 5 missions. But I do want to play them in VR. I think that would be an interesting, different take on it, and might feel a bit more dynamic to me because of that.
I heard that was pretty botched. It wasn't fantastic.
I've heard only good things about the VR.
Really? Because this
Yeah.
was just the PSVR version was the only one available. And
Oh, it's available on Steam VR now as well. So
Oh,
any
okay, maybe
headset
that's
will
better.
work.
They were
Oh,
saying
right, okay.
the problem...
I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm
Okay.
wrong there, but
because the PS version only used the DualShock. You couldn't use the hands.
Channel,
So
no.
you were using the DualShock to be a left and a right hand, and people were saying that disconnect wasn't great. But if it's coming out on those platforms, I feel like, actual having hand control would be heaps of fun. Tapping people, punching them.
Yeah,
That's
it'd
about
be
it.
And besides the sort of jankiness, which I totally understand, and I think there's a few things with that. There's the obvious stuff like how do you put on clothes in a video game, but also Hitman 2, and Hitman 3 is a game that went through 3 different publishers, like Square and then Warner Brothers and then self-published, like squeaking through every time budget-wise, and nothing has really changed that significantly about the game from the first one as well. So we are actually playing a game that's kind of 5-6 years old because it's still go play those original levels and it's like, oh yeah, this is basically exactly the same. They just
the
keep
first
putting out new
ones-
levels and they've tweaked a little bit.
They were the first ones. It was like puzzle solving without clues, without things being pointed to you. Then they went really far down that kind of like single player corridor shooter.
Oh, you mean? Oh, no, sorry. I'm
You're not
talking
talking
about the reboot. I'm just talking
Right.
about like Hitman, capital letters.
Got it,
Hitman
right.
2, Hitman 3.
Well, yeah, the very original
yeah,
Hitman
of course.
was a bit more of a sandbox, and then they went a bit more focused, and now back to that. I think is as
well,
you
then
said,
Absolution was like a level-based narrative
Yeah,
thing as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
And then it came back to that.
But how did you feel about the clockwork of the levels? Like the fact that you walk into this thing and you realize that this is a perfectly oiled piece of machinery, and that you are the like spanner that gets thrown in.
That is the beauty of the puzzles for sure. It obviously again is an extra step out of reality of being like, oh, they're on a loop.
Yep.
She's going to walk back under here in 5 minutes. I'll just come back and make sure she's under it then. But like, it's like the first pass is like beautiful and scary and tense, and then the second pass is like, this is a well-designed puzzle, but it's like, but I see it as a puzzle now, and like the things that I really wanted to love about it were like character and setting.
Oh my God.
And it's like,
I'm so sorry.
And they exist for a fleeting moment.
Yeah.
Like the first time I played.
Setting exists, like each one of those levels.
No, totally. But again, because like even though the setting is nice, and like every time I play through a mission, I'm like, oh, this goes into this room and that room, and it's like, and as soon as you've done that once, then it's like, and then the game is like, this is a puzzle, damn it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh right,
You grey box it.
Yeah, you grey box it.
Yeah.
It's like, this room has this name. Doesn't matter what's in here. It doesn't mean anything. It's like just about being in the right place at the right time and doing the right thing.
So as a lover of Hitman and Hitman 2, I think this is phenomenal. I think it's a wonderful cap on the series. I mean, it's not hard because it is, like I said, basically the same game, just with new maps, but it's also very hard to continually come up with these maps. This game has 2 maps in it that are unlike anything they've done in Hitman games. So Dartmoor, which is the second map, is a Agatha Christie murder mystery. It's the one I played on stream for the first stream that I did. And then the Berlin club level, where you are actually being hunted by hitmen as opposed to the other way around, is also unlike anything they've done. I am continually amazed by IO's creativity, their sense of humor, the way that they're constructing these levels, because there's 2 core ways in which they build Hitman levels. There's NoClip do a fantastic documentary series on making of Hitman, but they basically have fortress levels where you need to just work your way through a layer of security to get to someone who's like in the middle and kill them. And then they have, I think they call them snail houses, which is something where it just spirals, and so you kind of go deeper and deeper within something, and your target can be anywhere within there.
Right.
And so Dartmoor is an example of a snail spiral one where the target wanders around the whole level. You get access to her really easily.
Yeah.
And then there are levels where like your target is 7 floors underground in the middle of China, and you're like, how the fuck do you do? And just the creativity of the ways that you can pull these people out of their environments. you going in. This game is stunning. It is absolutely gorgeous. The weakest level for me in this one, I think, is the Dubai one, even though it has the most beautiful opening of like you're in this skyscraper above the cloud line. When you walk up those stairs and the light blooms, it's just a phenomenal looking game for the amount of routine AI stuff that is happening that the game has to remember. You dropped a thing here, you hit a body here, and blah, blah, blah.
And from everything I saw, it's pushed as many people off the edge of that building as possible.
Yes, yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a version of it as well that you can pick up that has all 3 games.
So that is, if you own 3, whatever platform you buy it on, if you own the other games on that platform, you can import the levels. So you don't...
Oh, okay. So you don't just get them all?
No. If you already own them on the same platform, you can import them. It will run them in the new engine, and it will add some new little feature stuff. And that's what I've done on PlayStation, and so therefore I have all the levels, and it is a joy to go back to those old levels and just go like, oh my God, there's so much fun to run.
Both console versions, yes. PC a little more difficult because of Epic and Steam, and there's like...
I think you have to own it on Epic or Steam. The platform needs to be consistent.
All that stuff is
That's a tricky one.
Annoying.
But
it's like because they're dealing with platform holders, different publishers for the games, tech. It's a real nightmare. I think that it's admirable that they did it. It was very difficult in lots of ways, but
Nicrotex says you can import them or just buy them as DLC.
Yes.
Right. That's the other thing. Yeah. So it's fantastic though. Like that, it is so much fun, and I'm kind of the. I don't know, do you like that initial moment when you walk into a level and you're like, it's all tense and blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, like to me, that's like, I would love for that feeling to be persistent throughout. Mm-hmm. I mean, Absolution to me is like what I think I prefer, is that like, I see the beauty of it and it's gone before I see the inner workings of it.
Yep.
Like before the curtain's drawn back.
Totally.
But I understand that the game is so much about drawing back the curtain and being the overseer of like the puppet master of this world, this clockwork.
And for me, it's almost the opposite, where I hate I like a dread starting a new level in some ways, because I'm like, I need to learn all this stuff. And I walk into, but then as I get my bearings and the discovery of like all the ridiculous things that happen in these levels, like the sense of humor of like how seriously the game takes itself in terms of like Agent 47, and then how ridiculous so much stuff in the game is wonderful. But I love when I grey box it. Like when I pull it apart and I go, okay, like I'm going to accomplish these 7 tasks within here by breaking this game basically, but never in a way that the designers weren't totally like, yeah, this is exactly how you do it. So yeah, I am absolutely loving it. That's all you've been playing? Yep. And so I'll just touch on 2 things quickly. First one, I've been playing. So every Christmas, I tweeted this out last November or something. Every Christmas, I basically discover a game and I fall in love with that game. And it's like, oh, this is my Christmas. I can think back and it's defined by that game. 2016 was Hitman for me. It was so many people's game of the year, and we'd played it on Good Game, and I kind of go, oh yeah, okay, whatever. I did the training level, and then so many people loved it. I went back to it at Christmas time, fell in love. Happened with Outer Wilds. Happened with Dark Souls. That played Christmas, Dark Souls and Bloodborne. Happened with Destiny too. So I look back and I was like, well, I know the game this Christmas that I'm going to fall in love with.
All these like solid AAA, polished, good games.
Well, so yes, you're trying to lead me down one path. I'm going to come back to your path though, because I thought it was going to be 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, which I'll talk about in a second. And it turned out to be Call of Duty Black Ops multiplayer.
Hey!
Being the game that I sunk.
About time the little guy gets a call out.
Keeping in mind I have 2 children, I have played 80 hours of the multiplayer over the last 4 weeks. I prestiged 4 times.
What are you playing it on?
On PS5.
You're playing this on console?
Yeah.
It's the only way you stand a chance
It's a pretty
sometimes. I was going to say PC's pretty...
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
Pretty deadly.
Yeah,
I've prestiged 4 times. I have finished the 100-level battle pass.
Wow.
The new map came out today. I will play it tonight when we get home, no matter what time I get home. I am a Call of Duty fanboy so hard at the moment. I have been talking to Miles so much about it. I watch COD League now.
Everyone's calling you a COD bro.
I am a COD. I am a COD bro.
No COD Pro has ever said that way.
But yeah, I fucking love this game, and I am shockingly good at it.
They have really boiled down, just like distilled that. Just keep playing, the satisfaction, the speed of the game. It's like you can't put it down. It's just like junk food.
It is phenomenal, and I have not fallen in love with the Call of Duty multiplayer since like the original Modern Warfare, like since COD sort of came back as the game 2010 or whatever. So yeah, I've just put so much time into that. But I also I need to play 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, because that was the game I was planning on falling in love with. So I have played about 17 hours of this game, and I am in love with it. I am not in love with this part. So the way that the game works, and I think I briefly spoke about it last year, it is a classic Nick on his bullshit game where it is a teen anime kid
naked in a mech.
We established, because we chatted about this maybe in one of the Game of the Year
the end of the year
episodes.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, we did. Okay,
we found out
naked
that
kids
you're putting
in
naked kids in the mechs.
Good. But the really significant thing, Will, can we skip this shit? Because lots of people like the battle system. I hate it. Thankfully, you can nearly ignore it and just totally burst through it. The narrative is what I'm there for. The interesting thing about the narrative is that you play as 13 different characters, and you jump into their stories, and for like 4 or 5 hours, you don't know what's going on. And you are trying to it's all time travel and time hopping, and different people are different people, and there are different brains in different people, and all this sort of stuff.
Is it all happening around a school too?
It's all happening around a school, but over the course of literally hundreds of years.
Where children go.
Totally. But as it all coalesces, it is becoming so fascinating, so just bold in terms of what it's doing with story. And I realize, I'm like, why am I drawn to these kinds of games? Because I actively hate the naked kids in the mech stuff. I hate the fact that they're always kids. I hate the fact that it's like always just this weird sort of like pseudo-sexual, like I'm half okay with the sexual stuff, but not when it's the kid stuff. But
most of all, you hate the way you don't hate that.
Yeah,
not even close.
But what I'm really drawn to is just the way that these games just tell narratives that are unlike anything else we play in video games. They just go so out there, and that's why, like the Paradise Killer, the Danganronpas, the Zero Time Dilemmas, these kinds of things where it's like, my God, you're telling the most bizarre, fucked up stories, and no AAA game would ever come close to attempting something like this.
No movie studio is just ripping this out of a game, or vice versa. It's like, these are stories. You're right.
Anytime that even a Stephen King wants to put some underage sex in his stories, it gets ripped out by Hollywood studio.
Totally, yeah. And so
they just don't make them like they used to.
They don't. And so I have been loving this game. The art is beautiful in it, which you're seeing right now. But it is, the story. I'm not even going to attempt to describe it, but just the way that it all comes together, and I love those kinds of games where you just play fragments of story.
So what is I'm still confused about what the main gameplay is.
So the game's split into two distinct chunks. There's the story stuff and the combat. The story stuff is basically like a point and click adventure, like a visual novel
at now looks very pointy.
We just saw a young boy put a stuffed rabbit into a mech.
Yeah, good. So it's just this. It's conversations, but what you basically go through these people's timelines, and you find new branches of timeline to explore. And so that's the narrative stuff. And then the game.
You said over 100 years?
Yeah, hundreds of years.
Right, okay.
And then the gameplay stuff is it's kind of like a tower defense real-time strategy thing, where the kids who pilot these mechs, kaiju attack the city, you jump in your mechs and try to defend the city.
Like isometric move them around.
Totally. It was that blue top-downy sort of thing.
Yeah.
It is looks completely different than the art style that they use for the story. It is 100% like a totally different game. I think it works. Like, lots of people are really satisfied with it, and I think it's really fun, but it's just not what I come to it for. I'm not here for that kind of thing. I'm here for the twisty time travel stories.
Can you power through those sections?
You can set it to casual, which is literally just things blow up as soon as you launch your rockets, and you just burn through it. And also it does this interesting thing where you can basically go, I'm just going to play the story for 10 hours, and then you play it, and then slowly these characters' storylines get locked off, and it goes, you have to go do these battles to progress these characters' narrative to their next part of the story, and then you go do it, like you spend an hour watching fucking whatever's on Netflix and do those, and then come back to the story.
Just really quickly, did you play the most recent Fire Emblem on Switch?
Yes.
Yeah, what's weird is that I really love the combat and the battles and the way that game plays out, and I couldn't finish that game or get anywhere close to finishing because of all the school story, Hogwarts-esque like stuff that was happening there. Very different, like played in a different way than what you're talking about now.
But it's the same.
That was for me a
stuff.
flip version of that, being like, I really love the gameplay aspect of this, and I hate all the story. Well, I hate the way the story is being told to me, or I'm having to play it out. So yeah, interesting that I feel like I want to try this to see if I can enjoy that story side when it's done better.
If there's anyone on the couch who's going to like it, it's you. And we'll
Do you
see.
have to stay upwind or downwind of the naked people in the mess?
yeah, just okay.
Oh my God. That took me a moment to connect the two thoughts. I was like, what?
That's what I'm here for.
The hunting.
The hunting.
And then the last thing I'll just add on this is that the way I've been playing this game and the way I've been doing all my replays on Hitman is with the Backbone controller. They do not sponsor us. This is not a paid thing. I bought this with my own money because I read a bunch of stuff about it. It turns your phone. It's like a controller for your phone. I use this to do PS remote play, which used to be shit, which is now incredible.
Phenomenal.
It is so good. This is Hitman right now running on my home PS5, and it runs flawlessly from here. I have been sitting on the couch upstairs watching TV, playing my PS5 on this in bed here at work. It is incredible. And this controller is a game changer. It turns it into a Switch. I will be playing so many games. I'm about to start playing Yakuza. All 80 hours of Yakuza will be on my phone because my phone has an HDR screen. It's
crazy.
incredible.
We should preface the fact that the controller is not doing any of the grunt. It is using the remote PlayStation access, which has been around since the third PlayStation, I think, almost. But the fact is now that we are in here on good internet. You have good internet at home.
You need a good router at home.
It doesn't use router.
But yeah.
Right. Okay. Yes.
I'm hoping once we get our fiber, I can do that because that would be amazing.
You could probably get away with it now.
No, I've tried.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it at home on the router.
On the router, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, at home. But
I guess I think when I tried,
But
we didn't have the router, maybe. But I just tried to remote play to my laptop in bed,
Steam.
where I like
one,
to
though?
play all my games.
Yeah, it was the Steam. It was the Steam one, I think.
right.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm just saying that, I've got middle of the range NBN at home, and I can do it flawlessly from here. So that's a little bit of this internet as well. But yeah, I've been doing the same thing because getting the PS5, that was the first thing I wanted to tinker with. I bought the $3 variation of what you have.
Yep.
How much was it?
$100 US.
Yeah.
It's expensive, but it
$100
works with all.
US.
It's a controller for all iPhone games. It comes with some cool software. It feels fantastic.
Yeah.
It feels like a Switch controller.
Well, because this is for iPhone.
No, it's for iPhone. Oh, yes, that one is just for iPhone. Razer make one that's for both. But you made the.
I
The
bought-
Backbone will not make one for Samsung.
They will, but not right now.
I'm currently using my DualShock PlayStation 4 controller, which has Bluetooth, which means it connects seamlessly to my iPhone. But I bought a $4 or it was $2 with $2 shipping from Alibaba, which is just basically the piece of plastic that wraps around the DualShock and has a clamp on the back, which is totally fine. But since picking this thing up, I was like, I'm going to get one of these. It feels so much nicer to have the weight not hang off the back of your hands, like the whole screen pulling down. This is actually,
But all phones basically now also support controllers,
Bluetooth.
like the Bluetooth controllers. So the DualShock. And
What about if you have a big phone?
Hi, welcome to Big Phone World.
My
Yeah.
phone is bigger than that.
Your phone is bigger than
I
this?
think so. I just pulled that thing out and it would not go around.
Yeah. I mean, it goes that far. It's pretty. Your phone should fit in it. Yeah, it just.
With the case,
the right one.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic. So
and a
remote
big screen
play
as well. Sorry, I was saying the internet and having a decent sized screen. I've got a smaller iPhone. It's fine to play Spelunky and Destruction All Stars and stuff. I'm not going to play Dark Demon Souls on it because I've got an iPhone 10. I reckon it's just that bit too small.
Yeah,
So-
but you can do it to laptop, you can do it to iPad, you can do it to a bunch of stuff. So yeah, it works so well. So that's how I've been playing most of my games. Whew, we did it. While we did it as well, I wanted to shout out 20 minutes ago, LokiCat donated 15 subs to the chat. Thank you so much, LokiCat.
That's lovely.
Phenomenal.
LokiCat.
God,
That's
the
what you've been
patronage.
doing over the holidays.
We are going to jump to a short break, and then we are going to be back with more Back Pocket.
Love a short break.
Love a short break.
Love
a
back
short break.
pocket.
Love Back Pocket. All right.
plain sight? Camo. Want to spy on deer? Camo. Want to shoot those deer? Camo! Want to get close enough to a pack of deer that you could dress up as a deer, gradually earn their deer trust, become accepted as one of their own, wait until the stag dies and inherit alpha control of the herd, guide that deer herd for a decade until you're the most celebrated deer elder, and then shoot that deer and mount it on a fucking wall? Camo! Camo camping equipment. You've seen the rest, now try and find the best. You can't, because it's camo.
Is your thumb chafed? Calloused? Does it hurt when you headshot the wizard from the moon? You've probably got Destiny Thumb, a condition that affects 1 out of every 1 Destiny players. Lucky there's Avexia. Just apply Avexia thrice daily to the affected area. Side effects of Avexia may include heart murmurs, heart whispers, heart shrieking, jam tongue, deep vein thrombosis, shallow vein thrombosis, elephantitis, giraffe neck, Truman Show syndrome, me, myself and Irene-itis, the quakes, the shake and bake, the bacon snake, the snake and rake, foodborne illnesses including breech banana and chicken Caesarean salad, bulging vein, bungee mane, imposter syndrome, composter syndrome, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, beaver fever, rat bite fever and Saturday night fever, facial blindness, severe facial remembrance, alien hand syndrome, mermaid foot, and in some rare cases, Destiny Thumb. Do not take Avexia if you are also taking medication for Fortnite fungus or Dota Dick.
Welcome back. Thank you very much to Kamo and Avexia for sponsoring and getting your commercials. The Kamo commercial, brand new, Avexias we've seen before. And then also thanks to Avexia again, Christopher, Todd and Bellykate for your word from our sponsors.
Yeah.
Vexed Forest, you should definitely join the Patreon. That would help us out a lot. If you got the means
Yay.
to, go for it.
If you want your own ad made about you, but with no information from you, just purely will take the name and make the whole ad around that. You might not like the ad. You might not like the thing we're promoting, but you will get that ad.
Absolutely.
You can do that.
Mando in the chat has just discovered us, says you guys are my childhood. So hello, Mando. Welcome. This is what we do now.
welcome
We
back to your
swear a lot
childhood.
on this show, and I'm sorry.
Yeah. 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 If you remember Spawn Point, forget Spawn Point. So while we're getting through some housekeeping as well, because we're back for another year, something else that we've started to do, we've been looking at expanding the Back Pocket Empire and how to also expand the fan base. And we think that technology that became popular in 2004 is the best way to do this.
About time we catch up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Peter, do you want to explain more about what we've been doing?
Yeah, so many of you who are on the Discord saw last year we did a big poll to kind of gauge how you guys were feeling about how everything was running. And part of the feedback that we got was that people had difficulty consuming all of the content that we were making, which is fair enough because we put out hours and hours of content and not everyone has hours and hours of time. But we do make all this content. And we want to keep making all the content we're making. And scripted shorter stuff takes more time. Just because it's a 10-minute video doesn't mean it took longer to make than a 40-minute stream or a 2-hour stream. So what we wanted to do is find some ways to make some content that's more approachable to you guys. And that conversation started with, I'll start with how we're going to change what we're doing with the backup. We're going to continue making the daily backup. We're going to do half an hour of news and then an ad break, and then we're going to do some talkbacks. So that's still happening on Mondays and Wednesdays going ahead.
Which is, for anyone probably, sorry to interrupt, is just a quick sort of summary of some news headlines and what's going on in the gaming world, and sort of broader than that as well. But yeah.
And that stuff happens live, but we put it on YouTube as well.
Yeah, so that stuff happens on the Twitch channel, this Twitch channel on Mondays and Wednesdays in the AM. But what we want to do is take that shorter news now. So instead of doing an hour news, we're going to find the headlines that really mean something to the people who are on that episode and dig into them. And that means we're going to have a half-hour news record, and we're going to be able to put the highlights of that, trim that down and do a highlights video that goes up on the YouTube channel. And for the people who love having long content, they're going to have the option to watch it on Twitch. They're going to have the option... The VOD will be on Twitch, and the stream will be on Twitch. But then they're also going to have the option to use their pretty little ear holes to listen to the show, because we're launching podcasting as another way for you to access the content that we have, which goes for very long.
Not this show at the moment, though.
Not this show. This show doesn't really particularly work as a podcast.
Yeah, because if you were listening to the podcast, you'd be like, look at this shirt I'm wearing and all this funny stuff I'm doing.
Yeah, it's quite visual.
Yeah. So we have that in mind now when we're making new programs, and a lot of you will have seen Pocket Watch, which is something we've talked about forever and we really love. Oh my God, no.
See, this would have been terrible on a podcast.
It totally would have been.
They'd be like, what was that little trilly music?
This. Pocket Watch is something that we've wanted to do for a long time. We love talking about film and TV as well. And it made sense to kind of launch this as we kind of found our way into podcasting. So Pocket Watch, we record and it goes up as a VOD, but it is also available as a podcast on at the moment, Apple Podcasts and through an RSS feed through Podbean and through Pocket Casts. You can search Back Pocket. It's a Podbean URL, Back Pocket. Did we have that URL, Will? We do not.
If you search Pocket Watch...
Oh, yeah, fine.
You can just search it in a podcast
it'll just
app.
come up.
On the Chrome.
And I encourage you to not only search it now, but while you're watching, but subscribe and also review, because that's going to be the best way to spread the good word of Pocket.
We've become those people now who are like, leave us a review.
Totally. I've did it for so long.
And I'd like to be those people as well who occasionally read some of those reviews.
Interesting.
Live. So yeah, I mean,
we'll
read
incentive.
There you go. I mean, we'll read the good ones. We might read a bad one, but would be more inclined to read the good ones.
Tom Harmathy, yes, a chance of a Spotify release. Yes, it should make its way to the Google Podcast platform as well. And maybe even the Amazon one. It's just, there's a back-end process and it just takes time. Apple were really quick. They were within 24 hours. They approved it because they just love the content. Steve Jobs gave us a call from the grave and said, make more of this. So Steve Jobs was the first review we got. And it was glowing. So see if you can match Steve Jobs. But yeah, so the idea of this is that you can consume this content and you don't need to sit down in front of a screen to watch it. You can listen to Pocket Watch or our news and talk through shows as you're doing something else
and
on the lawn.
And just to break that down, they're going to be two separate podcasts at this stage.
Correct.
So at the moment, Pocket Watch is the one we'll be doing for any film and TV that we watch along, and then we have a chat about it afterwards. Currently, the one you are seeing up there is for WandaVision, which Will, Steph, and Nick have been doing. You've done 2 episodes of that, and basically that will drop pretty quickly after it goes to air the episode, and it's a bit of a wrap-up, that kind of thing as well. But the series of Pocket Watch, hopefully we're going to look into other films, other series, things like that, switch up the mix of people who are there. So that'll be your main place to go for that. And then, as Pete mentioned earlier, the Somewhat Daily Backup, the audio as the podcast from that will go onto a different podcast. And I think at the moment that is going to be
The Back Podcast.
The Back Podcast. Pretty simple. thought we'd keep that one because that will be a place to go for those and potentially other audio grabs from other shows or other segments we might do in the future as well. So that's kind of our more generic other things that come through Back Pocket will go there.
But we haven't made any of that stuff yet, so
don't leave a review for that yet.
So we will make it next week, and it'll be up then, and that's how you can consume it. You will catch up to all this, and we will as well, as we learn what you like and what's working for us and the best workflows, and we'll keep you updated. But yeah, this is something that will hopefully mean that if you wanted to consume our content and you find it difficult to be sitting in front of a screen for many hours a day, I listen to so many podcasts. You can put it on double speed while you're playing some Call of Duty multiplayer.
You can put it on quarter speed if you want to hear it sound like we're just not very healthy.
Yeah, there you go.
I listen to my audiobooks at 1.25 and then they're over so much quicker.
It drives me
Power through.
crazy that he does that.
Yeah.
Like,
It's only a
podcast
few.
is
It's only a
fine,
few.
Yeah.
but like a book that is narrated perfectly and has pacing and drama, and he's just speeding through it like it's no big deal.
I want to say that we just got so burnt in the chat, and I don't know if we're going to be able to continue the show because ZBD said, "Where's Barjo? It's all the boring people." And I just want to say that, like, you got me. You got me exactly where it hurts. Like, well done. Because that one knife to the heart.
Currently, it's everyone but Barjo. So,
Yeah.
like, the implication from that perfect burn is that just, like, these are just the boring ones.
He must have hated Good Game. So there you go. So
Plus,
we'll
Stephen
let you
has
know.
all the clown outfits.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
He didn't leave any for us.
It's not fair.
It wasn't fair at all.
Could you imagine listening to the audio of Stephen, of Barjo? It would be
He should definitely
amazing.
podcast.
His podcast.
Apparently our mods deleted that.
Oh, let it live. Let the hate
That's
flow.
fine.
Let that
All right, let's move forward now. It is the beginning of the year, I guess still technically, even though it's February, it's the beginning of our year. Stephanie?
I should have just mentioned we're actually streaming with Barjo next week.
Oh, yeah.
I assume one of you will be streaming from Back Pocket.
Correct. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
will be.
So
Yep.
it's us and pretty much everyone from Good Game is going to be streaming on Tuesday. We're going to be playing Among Us.
Yeah, so the little fuckwit in the chat, you can see your exciting person then.
And one of us could choose to kill him first.
Yeah,
Kill the annoying one.
so we are, it's the beginning of the year for us, which means that we wanted to set some gaming resolutions. So this is the Back Pocket 2021 gaming resolutions brought to you by Nicrotex. Nicrotex, of course, at Nick Belling, one of our favorite sponsors on the program here. Every time Nicrotex sponsors a segment, I read out a recent tweet of his. This one's from February 4th, 2021, today. Went to an opera for the first time tonight, which I feel like must have been last night, so maybe this was last night. I'd only seen opera scenes in film from. I'd only seen opera in scenes from film and TV. Couldn't help but feel I was watching the boring part because right at the crescendo of the first song, all I could think was, "This is where you'd cut to someone getting strangled backstage."
I love that tweet because I had the exact same thought when I went to the opera, which was as the crescendo is happening, I looked in the rafters for someone assembling a rifle. I'm like, this is that moment right now. Someone up there is just opening a briefcase and putting together a flute with a scope and everything else. And I was like, this is that. This is where this would happen.
Is there a hitman mission at the opera?
There's one at a fashion show, which is basically the same
That's the
thing.
same thing.
Yeah, yep.
That's the same thing.
But I love
It's
that
arguably the best hitman left.
And yeah, he's also very well put there in the sense that it's like, it would be the crescendo of the song about the woman who is heartbroken and dies. So there'd be intercuts between her on stage dying inside and then, you know, the juxtaposition of seeing someone being like strangled off camera is like, it's the crescendo and then snap.
Fifth Element, the Plava de Luna.
Yes!
Yeah.
Cut with Lilu doing the whole fight scene. upstairs.
James Bond,
Bond, it
Quantum of
was
Solace.
Quantum of Solace. Actually, a really weird choice. They go to like black and white, and they show him like in a kind of weird frame rate fighting
Yeah.
people in a kitchen.
Oh my God, Nicrotex just
going
gifted
ham
subs
again.
all over the place.
Holy
my
smokes!
gosh.
10 tier 1 subs. Thank you very much. It's because we said something nice about his tweet. We all laughed.
It's a good tweet.
Okay, so our game.
But appreciate opera, people. It is good.
It's
but
not-
like, I don't know how the Sydney Opera House is still open. But
Yep.
opera's great.
Yeah.
It's good. It's expensive, but it's good.
It's not
They gotta
always
pay for
about
those dresses.
It's not always about murder. It can be a nice night at the opera, and no one has to die.
It's often. Oh, well, someone has to die at the opera. Everyone dies in
Yeah,
opera.
that's true,
but
actually.
it's not necessarily always murder. It's like
Yeah.
Some of them are
Syphilis.
cholera. Yeah.
Some of them are funny.
Yeah. Yeah. If you know Italian.
funny. Well, they put surtitles.
They do it on the screens
do they?
above the stage.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you not been to the opera?
I've been to an opera, but there was no subtitles. But that was the whole point because it was like you just feel it.
because they're above.
Oh,
Get out of town.
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. But it's funny because like sometimes the note will go for ages and it's just like one word being like, "Why did you leave me, please?" And it's like, "Oh."
That's great. Okay, our gaming resolutions, 2021 gaming resolutions. Let's go around the horn. Things that we want to change about ourselves when it comes to video games. I also got some that you guys suggest as well. Free to leave yours in the chat as we go. Peter, start us off.
Oh, I'm going to start this off.
Yeah, please.
I remember the resolutions that I had. Yeah. One of my resolutions is to play the things that make me uncomfortable. Like we established.
Have you heard about naked children in a mech?
Very comfortable with those.
We established this last year. I tend to play a game up to a point. If I find that I'm not enjoying it, I'll leave it behind. Sometimes that's a game that is like very much in my wheelhouse and it just isn't a good game. But other times it's a game that I just like. It doesn't click with me and I never force myself through it. Mm-hmm. And I want to force myself to play through a Paradise Killer style game so that I can really, really justify my hatred for it at the end of the day.
No, that makes sense.
It's just a resolution that starts and ends with one game. So you can, as you said...
My resolution is to play Paradise Killer.
It's not to play a lot of these and go, I've played many a game that has made me uncomfortable.
No, but
it's to play the one and be like, I was right.
I find it easy to... And I feel like justifiably, I dismiss things like Persona 5, which I see in the chat, and I dismiss things like because they just irk me so hard.
I don't know. They set themselves up to be dismissed.
Absolutely, and but people find so much joy in them, and like I want to persist with something that lets me see little bit of that light shine through. And hopefully, I might just end up doubling down on how much I hate it. But
from experience, the times you're forced to play something that you do not think is in your wheelhouse and you enjoy it is such a wonderful feeling and puts you on the path to a genre you never thought you'd play. I know I weirdly just mentioned it before, but Fire Emblem was a series I never thought I would like, and I love that series now. And I would like, unless I think Good Game made me pick it up for some reason, it's like now one of my favorite genres and series of games. So yeah, it pays off well when it works well.
Yeah.
Stephanie.
My first. Are we doing two?
We're doing two.
Yeah.
Yeah, but only one at a time.
One at a time.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay, so my first one is 2020 for me was like the year of Steph's multiplayer explosion.
Building your crews.
Yeah, I think it just like previously my understanding of most multiplayer games was they were military competitive shooters, majority of them. So I kind of was like, I'm not good at those and I don't particularly enjoy spending time in those worlds. So I've just never really played a lot of them. And that was fine. I was just like, I'm just not that kind of person. And I like my big open world, like RPGs and stuff like that. And that's great. But I really, really found a great sense of community in online multiplayer games. And it was just about finding the games that I enjoyed and were worlds that I enjoyed being in and maybe opening myself up to new experiences, like riding dinosaurs.
Yep. The joy of so many games comes from playing them with people that you have fun with.
Yeah.
But you found that in the past. I feel like you played a lot of Fallout 76, and that is not a good game. Like vanilla.
I didn't play a
76.
lot. I didn't play a lot of that.
But you had the reason you played some was because you had people to play with, and you were looking for the joy in it.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like my sort of gateway was Sea of Thieves because that was a very passive kind of game. Yeah. And it had most of it was just like we'd chat about our day while we were sailing a ship and like going on little missions and stuff. And occasionally we'd have bursts of PvP and that was fine because it was just like, it wasn't the whole experience.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I think I just found joy through Destiny and some other games and stuff that made me realize that there is a whole kind of world that I was missing out on if I wasn't dedicated to just finding my niche. So I think my goal for this year would be to, I've gone hard on Destiny and I still will continue to play all the expansions and stuff like that, but I would like to find more multiplayer games that I enjoy and can play with other people all the time.
More crews.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah. More crews and more games. Like I love the people that I play with. It's more just that I don't want to go hard on one game so much and be that all I do is just play Destiny. I love Destiny and I want to keep playing it. But
a lot of the people you play games with are in the chat and part of Pocketeers and stuff, and I'm sure you'll find other people in there to play different games with. But
I'm
could
not
you
going to play
rank?
COD.
Could you rank the
no,
people
yeah,
that you
that's
play
what I
with now?
thought.
Like your most favorite to least favorite, the people that we play with?
We'll do a list episode.
Yeah, let's do a list. We should do that. That's a great idea. Okay, good. I like that. Angus?
Kind of similar to yours. I know I mentioned it earlier, but I've had some friends who haven't gamed for years who have found their way back into the fold. And I've enjoyed reestablishing that gaming connection with them. We've got a bit of a crew together.
Ooh!
The only one with a crew. But I've got a stubborn fucking crew. They like one game, maybe two. And it's like, they get that game and that is all we will play for 6 months at a time. And
Is your crew like that?
When my crew don't gel on something, like I haven't played Dota for 3 months or something, and we just haven't played games together. I played Destiny with one of them, and the group.
I mean,
falls
the
apart.
worry there is if you don't transition into another game, you lose that crew.
Yeah.
If you stop playing that game.
That's
For a long
tough.
time, that was playing Warzone, playing Plunder last year, and that was the one game we would play, and I enjoyed playing a lot of it. However, at the start of this year, I said, let's look through the Game Pass and find a weird fucking game we like.
Oh, yeah.
And I managed to get us onto that hunting simulator I mentioned before. And all of a sudden, I now hold the cards to say, this proves that we can play
right.
other games and they can be really good fun. So my resolution is to drag this crew and anyone else who wants to join kicking and screaming into new experiences. So it's my job to help some of the people I play games with into like kind of what Pete's doing, but like
Yeah,
a
I
bit
know
of
what you
yours.
mean.
It's like a combination of the two resolutions.
You're the glue.
I'm the gateway drug, which can be glue sometimes, depending on the strength.
I meant you're the one that binds everyone together.
Oh shit! Yeah, gotcha. I know.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing.
That was
glue.
great.
That was good.
So yeah.
Kids, don't do glue, but that was great.
And funnily enough, we went through the Game Pass, and there wasn't as much there that I thought we could do. But I saw Ark, and I saw that, and I'm like, Ark Evolved. And I said to a friend of mine, I'm like, this is actually, we could all play this together. It would, we don't all have to just kill people and get a high score or animals. It's like we can all craft a village together or something. And they're like, I'd never usually play that. I'm like, yeah, we wouldn't have played that hunting game, and we're having the best time of our lives right now. So I've got an in, and I'm going to like really exploit that to try and get at least this group of 5 and maybe more as I go through to play different games so we don't just play COD or another game with a gun or something like that. So I've been looking at things like Death Squared, little puzzle games, golf with your friends, all these little quick, easy ones.
Have you thought of Satisfactory?
No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
okay,
I've seen a lot of people playing that.
I've seen that.
A lot of people love Satisfactory, and it could really be the kind of thing that you would get into.
Some would even say the game is quite pleasing. And yeah, like, that said, we did find Worms WMD, which is the most recent Worms game. And some of these guys I used to play Worms with. We played a match where we had 5 of us playing, each with 8 worms. That's 45 worms on one map. It was chaotic and it was hilarious. And I'm like, yeah, the classics are still fun, but I'm going to get you guys playing some new stuff. So that's the goal.
Yeah, good.
What about you?
My first one, it's funny, all you guys were talking about how you want to play more games. And I went back and forth so much on social games. So close to putting, I'm going to try and play more games with friends this year. And that may be true, but I didn't want to put it down in writing.
Yeah.
But I love that you guys are all having fun experiences. My first one was, it's actually okay for me to stop playing games when I don't enjoy them. And I realized, and I've known this for a while about myself, that I feel like I buy into the hype a lot around games, and then they come out, and then I feel like I should be playing them.
It's also when you spend money on them too. It's like
Definitely, like there's a sunk
I think that was
cost
Fallout
fallacy.
76 for me.
You bought it.
I bought it. I was like, no, I'm having a really good time.
It has recovered since, so your money, it was just an investment in a future of good Fallout 76
Right.
that now exists.
Yeah.
And so but I realized that like I will find myself playing games and they're not bad games. Oftentimes they're very good games, but they're just not my kind of game. But because it's the game that everyone is playing, then it's like, oh. And I was thinking about how like this holiday I played so much COD multiplayer. Not the best example because it's one of the most popular games of all time. But also 13 Sentinels. And going, I had put aside this time to finish some like Cyberpunk, for example. And I went, I'm just really not interested in doing it. And even though it feels like I should be playing that, actually I want to play the Japanese weird thing. And I get so much more joy when I go, it's okay to sample that thing, but then drop it when I feel like I've just like know enough about it so that I can talk about it on the show and engage in the discussion. But actually like double down on like following my fun and not feeling like I have to play something because that's what everyone else is playing.
I wonder if this is one of those resolutions that flips back and forth year by year. So next year, you're like, this year, I'm going to finish some AAA games that everyone talks about.
Yeah, totally.
And then you just exhaust yourself after maybe 12 months of that and then like fall back on that one, because that was the other one for me. It's like, do I try and finish more games? I'm like, don't put that pressure on. And I think that's the perfect way to
well,
look
that's
at
the
it.
thing. That for me, that was where I was like, finish more games. Is that the thing? I was like, no, because that becomes you're putting work on. Like that's me going, oh no, I have to do this. And it's like I don't have to fucking do anything.
It's true. I always have this thing, and I was the same with books as well. I'd get really stubborn with books. If I started a book, I was like, I have to finish it.
Totally. You're 10 pages in, you're like, I hate it, but I've got another 400 to go. It's like, why?
And so then you're like thinking about reading and knowing that the book that you have to read you hate, so then you end up not reading at all. And it's the same with games. If there was a game that I was playing that I wasn't really enjoying, I was like, oh, I should play that game because I really need to finish it. And then I was like, I guess I'm just not going to play games then.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
like you could be playing something else that you like, but yeah.
Exactly.
That's a good one.
So some viewer suggestions. BMAC TLDR in Discord said, no buying loot boxes. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
They're designed for you to buy. You will buy them. Jules J said, play through a game from every year from 1990 onwards.
Jesus.
So that is a big ask.
Why?
Yeah.
It's like
That's a lot of games. That's 30
that's a cool
games.
goal to have, though.
It's a
I think.
cool
It is a
goal
cool
to have, for sure.
It's a fun. It doesn't feel like a resolution so much as a like challenge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you
That's
have
cool.
to play and finish, or just try?
It says play through. So that implies finish. I mean, the Mass Effect remaster's coming out in May. That's 3 years.
That's
that you
3
can
years
just
to
knock
check
over.
off. Yeah.
Just knock over.
Yeah, in
I think
200
you
hours.
can commit to just sampling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
don't and take a leaf out of Nick's
Just
book and
totally,
say you
yeah.
have to finish it.
And then Emerson said to spend more time playing games and less time watching other people play games.
That's a good one.
Unless it's us.
Unless it's...
But yeah, you could totally fall down that hole of just like, oh, I'll just put on Twitch or something and just watch people play games and then feel like you got that. And that's no judgment, but like, I mean, you had this, right?
That's my career. Film people playing, having fun, and then I just get that joy by osmosis.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, I've experienced that. Now I just never played a thing.
Totally.
We always felt so sorry for our editors on Good
Yeah,
Game
totally.
because we would have recorded full playthroughs of games and they would just be like, I was really looking forward to playing.
Oh, well,
There's a great bit in the final cutscene. Yeah. Put that in.
enjoy that, Andy. Okay, and the second resolution. Peter, take us away.
I'm going to
Make one up.
make one up on the spot right now, and it is to play a game from every year released in 1989. I would like to. I mean, this is lame and it's everyone's one, but finish more games because like. I just don't. I don't finish anything. It's a similar thing,
I
but
saw
it's
you
like
tweet the other day. Like PlayStation did a thing where it was like, you know how like all the social media sites, like your top 9 photos,
Yeah, yeah.
like your Spotify, like
Yeah.
most listened to, and PlayStation did one, and Peter's was like The Last of Us, and that was
it was
it.
like I had 2 games. It didn't even tell me what I played for the other 2 hours. I think it was Super Star Wars in the like emulator on PlayStation. But like yes, it plays into the same thing that I was talking about earlier, which was so it's like a 1.5 resolution. But even games like Cyberpunk, I only played through that opening few hours because I forced myself to stream it so that I would play it.
Yeah.
So I had a reason to play it because I was like, otherwise I'll just play Destiny or Dota. And by pushing through that first few hours, I like the wheels started turning and I was
You did
I was
something
on.
with Hitman, didn't you? Didn't you play that?
Yeah,
and then-
same thing with Hitman.
Yeah.
I almost uninstalled it. I played the first mission. I quit and was like, okay, I see what it is. And I went to uninstall it and I was like, no, I do this all the time.
For Nick.
Do it for Nick. And like, I've got another one right now, The Medium. We played a bit on stream.
We played half
You
of that game on stream.
You played like the first like few hours. I played up to that point, just like I caught up to it.
Power
So I'm
through.
like, cool, now I've got no excuse to not play this game. Except I'm finding it hard to boot that game up to play it. And like I reckon I'll probably enjoy it if I play it. But will I play it? Yes, because I'm resolved to.
Well, mine when we get to mine could help with yours.
Okay, cool.
Stephanie.
My other resolution is to, I guess, just to be more comfortable with streaming and stream regularly.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everything I've ever done in my career has been with a group.
Yep.
I don't feel like particularly confident on my own. I feel like I space out and I'm not entertaining and I don't know what to say. So streaming on my own is like really difficult. But
well, all of those things are wrong. I mean, you do space out, but like, you are very good by yourself.
Yeah, so I feel like every time I think about streaming, I sort of end up psyching myself out, and I don't feel like it'll be like it's worth it, or if I don't know. I psych myself out a lot, so I feel like I just want to. Because actually, I have had some streams that I've just enjoyed the process of playing the game with other people, and that being part of the enjoyment and it being a different experience because you're kind of sharing that with people and having a conversation while you're playing it and people are informing the decisions that you make. And that's really nice. And so I do enjoy that part of it. I just feel like I know it sounds weird because I do stuff on camera all the time, but I just need more confidence with it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
More solo Steph streams.
Yeah.
Group stream coming next Tuesday with the whole Good Game and Back Pocket crew. Don't forget about that one Tuesday night Among Us.
Angus.
My final one is that I want to become okay with replaying games I liked. I, for years, have put this off as one that I've said, like, why would I waste my time replaying something that I've enjoyed? And we're talking all the way back to, like, you know, N64 classics to something I might have done a few years ago. You guys are going to love this one, but one that I actually really want to replay.
The Hunt.
Death Stranding.
Does that, I mean, I don't want to yuck your yum. It's your resolution.
Sure.
Do what you want. Didn't you finish that game last year?
Yeah, that's such a weird one to choose.
It is. It's such a current, recent one that I'm like, I wanted to play that differently, and I feel like I want to go back to that. But
how do you play that?
Can I also float that it's a shit game?
no, it's a great game. Anyway, so it's for years I've always made that part of the thing of like, why could be playing something new? I could be having a new experience, but there are some experiences that I got so much out of that I really do want to revisit. Like that's the extreme example. So I use that to get a rise out of you both and a success. But
you're the puppet master.
A brilliant scheme.
But there are definitely some that I've thought, like, I won't replay this, I finished it. But I need to come to terms with that and say, no, I got a lot out of it, and there's something to revisit there and enjoy. So yeah, that's my plan.
You got
good, man.
A Mario Brothers game coming out that you can replay?
Yes.
You got some Mass Effects coming out?
Yeah, I want to replay Mass Effect 2. I want to replay Super Mario 3D World. I actually want to replay Mario 64. I've got the Switch version. I haven't booted that up once, but I do want to replay it. Not just the Mario ones, but yeah. And
I play through Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie like
I always think of that one, yeah.
once a year or two. Like 2 years.
I think of you playing it. That's my example of it, yeah.
They just like... It's hard when they're not easily accessible because like
sure.
Kazooie and Tooie are on the Xbox Live Arcade and it's like I could play it on the Xbox Series X right now. It just launches back 3 emulators and like boots it up. It's like when you have to go on like how do you play a 64 game, an obscure 64 game?
No, 64's fine.
Like
an Xbox original. That's a tough one these days, I've found.
Yeah, Blinks the Time Sweeper is a challenging title to find.
Transworld Surf. How do I get my fix, Pete? But yeah, it's like not only find it, but then for me, it's justify like, am I enjoying this or am I just like being nostalgic? And I think I should learn to embrace that nostalgia a bit more.
Totally, because you like. There's not a better 3D platformer than Banjo-Kazooie. Like that hasn't been surpassed. It hasn't been surpassed. And so you will play that game that you know you love, and you'll be like, I see other games trying to be this and not achieving it.
Yeah.
And like it's nice to go back and see these genre defining titles, and a lot of them hold up better than you think they would.
Also, like. I'm not denying myself that I am old now, and so those games, I've forgotten 85% of them. So it's like, no, I remember everything about that game, and I'll play it and be like, I don't remember any of this.
So that's what I was, because this was nearly a resolution of mine as well, and I'm being some more information about the Mass Effect remaster dropped a couple of days ago. Was reading up all on that. Pete 21.9 resolution, 4K, like supported on this. I'm very excited for this, and I was like,
can't wait to play it off your phone.
Totally. And I went, I'll replay them. I mean, it is a long amount of time to replay those games. And I was like, but I do love Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 is such a great game. And I sat there and I went, what happened to Mass Effect 2? And I go, I remember saying that I liked it. And then I thought about all of them and I went, Actually, I'm terrible at remembering plots of games. So this is like playing some of the greatest games that have ever been made. I've already played them, and how people are like, oh, I wish I could have that experience of playing Dark Souls for the first time. Well, motherfucker, guess what's about to happen?
I remember Mass Effect 2, I sent the good Geth guy through a tunnel that couldn't breathe gas.
Yes.
That's it. That is all I remember. It was one decision I made, and I was like, that's all that I think of when I think of Mass Effect 2. I'm like, one little cutscene. I'm like, I can't remember anything else.
I played through them all a few times, so I kind of
few times.
Yeah, two in particular sticks in my memory pretty well.
Very good.
Like the whole conceit of it was that like there's a.
Whoa.
I'm being serious.
I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah. No,
but
but
it's like
I'm just saying. Like, I remember the spoken man.
Yeah. It's like you're working towards.
Oh my god, I forgot about that entirely.
I'm not going to say anything.
Yes, I just didn't.
There's no point in saying anything. They don't even remember Commander Shepard.
I think
Big stuff.
Follows the star.
You didn't see, but I did exactly the same thing he did at the same time.
Yours.
That's very exciting. By the way, speaking of Munchine, I rewatched all of The West Wing
At 1.25 speed.
7 seasons, 180 episodes. I calculated it took up, I think, 8 literal 24-hour days of my life.
Jesus.
When we started lockdown, we watched all of The Office. We'd never seen it.
Yeah,
American,
good.
yeah.
American version.
Good show. I'm now dabbling. I've watched the first 5 episodes of 24.
Oh my God.
24 rewatch.
But again, you speed that one
Hold up,
up.
I don't know.
12.
There you go. And this one, I know how much time I put into it.
And that's like 3 days. 2 days.
I loved the idea of 24 when it first came out. The fact that there were 24 1-hour episodes.
So clever. Including ad breaks were factored into the time. Yeah, it was like, and watching the first one, like 5 episodes into that first one, I'm like, oh my God, this is like early 2000s as fuck.
Yeah.
But there's something
He
here.
carries that shit, man.
But it's also one of those shows that like it actually gets good 3 seasons in when everyone has betrayed each other,
Yeah.
and so then you get into the 3rd season and you're like, oh my God, that person is now head of the CTU.
CTU.
CTU. My final resolution was so a bit like yours. You're playing games that make you uncomfortable, and a bit like yours, getting into streaming, and a bit like yours with the replaying. So I want to get into horror games.
You want to replay them and stream them with friends.
Very close, yeah. So I do not like being scared. I really people like the experience of being scared at the movies. I thoroughly dislike the feeling of being scared. But horror, good horror movies and good horror games do really interesting story stuff.
Yeah.
When it's not just about like, oh, here's a cool way to kill someone.
Gore.
When it's actually about here's a fucked up story. That's like that is all my Japanese visual novel stuff. That is like, it's that kind of storytelling is the closest I get in AAA, and it's horror games. And when I was playing Hitman on stream a couple of weeks ago. I then played Resident Evil Maiden, the demo.
Played it last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
And I hated the first part with all the like bodies in the dungeon, but I adored the second part up in that mansion. The idea of the tall woman, like just all the story stuff that's happening there. I was so hooked. I was so hooked with what was going on. So my resolution is to play more horror games or get into horror games, which I normally don't like. The only horror series I've really liked was Dead Space, and by really liked I mean like commit myself to playing.
I was just about to say, I remember playing Dead Space and hating it.
Yeah. Oh, no, I hated the feeling the whole time.
It's almost like, it's not just, I don't mind being scared. I love phasmophobia and I love the like ghosts and horror and stuff like that. I think what I don't like is the stress.
Yep.
Of fighting for my life and jump scares and all of this stuff. And I hate that, like, overwhelming.
And you're often put in a scenario where you don't have much resources.
Yeah.
You're alone and isolated. There's like, like I'm going to replay Resident Evil 2, and they put into that game like a literal man that chases you through the entire game.
Like,
and it's like, that is so stressful.
I like The Last of Us because it feels measured, and there's aspects of that is horror, and there's times when you get overwhelmed, but because they're spaced out between like periods of just exploration, I feel like I get a breather.
The moments in that game feel literally like moments of holding your breath and moments of letting yourself
Totally. Whereas when it's just like relentless.
Yeah. And so Serial Killer in the chat said Alien Isolation, best ever. Alien Isolation is one of those games, where it's like become a cult classic. And so Alien Isolation, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 7, because I want to replay that to get into 8. Yeah. And so
And Village and 7 and 8. We're gonna do this.
Yeah. And so the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to stream these horror games because there's no fucking way I'm playing these by myself. And so that helped. Like when we played the medium, which is not like really, there was one scare, which was great. Yeah. But like
it was scary game, but
I had so much fun playing that with you guys commenting as I went, and I would be happy to be the person commentating while someone else was playing. And by streaming them, I will experience them with other people. But I really wanted to do it with you as well, to do Resident Evil 7 before 8, that we play that together on stream.
Have you played it?
Played any of the...
What, 7?
I played like the first 2 fucking terrifying hours, and then I got to like the bit where the game starts to be a game, and I just put it down. Same thing. I loved how the story was unique. I loved how the horror elements of it weren't just like there for shock value. They were actually like cleverly stressing me out in interesting ways. But I have a certain tolerance for it, and like Nick said, I need something there to help me get through it. Whether it's a stream, I did stream it years ago. In my old apartment when I tried streaming just by myself, and I played a little bit of it.
Yeah, when you had the goose and the thing.
Someone sent me a screen grab of all my reactions.
That's right, I remember that.
Photo. Yeah. Just me like covering my face in
Have you
different
ever
ways.
played Amnesia or any of those kinds of games?
No, like I'm talking literally the only horror game I've
Blanket
played
rules.
is Dead Space. Yeah, like I just
right.
don't like... Because my
Amnesia's a
imagination afterwards goes insane. Like
Amnesia's
when I'm
a good
home.
like starting point because I feel like it's more puzzly, and then there's moments where it's scary, but it's like...
Outlast 2, I want to say. The one that's like an upside-down crucifix or something. I think Outlast 1 was like an Xbox original. It was like...
Lots of people saying you'd love Amnesia.
Yeah, well, there you go.
okay.
But
Yeah,
Outlast was kind of like that, I think, if I'm getting that right. And it was like a lot of the game is hiding and using a camcorder with night vision to run away from people in like a kind of Resi Evil setting where it's like, is something witchy here, or is it just people who want to kill you? It was like a great game for that kind of...
Quillseeker said, Goose, that stream was the reason I have a Twitch account. So send me your horror recommendations on Twitter or like in the Discord or something. Alien Isolation and Amnesia seem to be the 2 overwhelming ones. But the reason that I thought of this was I played the demo. That was really fun. I liked the idea of playing 7 with you and having like a friend there to do that. But also I thought back to like what was some of my favorite gaming experiences, and the Until Dawn stream that we did was just
Dawn,
like, I was just like, God damn, that was so much fun.
I loved that game.
And again, it's because like I'm not getting that story in Assassin's Creed or in like Uncharted. Like that story happens in a fucked up world. So
I remember that game being like, because I love those kind of cinematic narrative games. I think there's a wonderful place for them. But I remember like I had to just give myself over to the schlockiness of it. That it was very much teen genre horror, and that was fun.
Gosh, and having the Dark Pictures anthology has not missed a beat since.
We recorded some more Little Hope yesterday, and like we went through the 7 stages of grieving with having to do that.
There's a teaser in the next upcoming ad break.
Is there? Fantastic.
There you go.
And we'll get to that upcoming ad break in just a moment after I finish off some other community ones. And we had Shadmere AU. Their resolution was, honestly, between Game Pass, free games on Epic Store, and Steam sales, Shadmere wants to resist the urge to buy newly released games.
Great. That's a really good one.
Good call.
Yeah.
Which I think is like, you get to, for me, I get to Steam sale time and I'm like, this used to be a time of excitement for me when I would buy all that stuff. And now I'm like, I got it all. Like, that's dumb. And it's like $10 now.
Between like the PlayStation collections and the Game Pass, it's like, there's too much in there to play that you do not need to fork out on a game you might not know is good.
Mystic Phantasm said my resolution is to get better at fighting games and to find more people to play them with.
Cool.
Which is a good one. And then Twinings said, I think I speak for everyone when I say my gaming resolution is to get a PS5. So thank you very much to everyone for your gaming resolutions, and we'll be back after this.
Can we just see the slide for that one more time? There's no Russell, or what is his name? There's
Jesus! Hang on, mate.
No, okay, maybe we can't.
On. Hang on, no, where is it?
I just thought, did anyone notice the dumpster fire? We're in front of a dumpster. We're in front of 2020.
2020 is a dumpster fire. Okay,
There we are.
You spelled resolutions wrong.
Did I?
No.
Ad break time.
Broadcast from 4th, McClunky.
Do you find yourself getting embarrassed in cold weather?
Do you have difficulty finding shirts that fit?
Are you leaking milk out of 1/3 of your nipples?
If so, you might have a third nipple and could be in line for a huge compensation payout from Gall.
Hi, we're the team from Acrash, and Buzzard, and we don't stop until we get you a big payout from the big guy.
But don't take our word for it. We lie for a living. Here's the word of one of our very satisfied customers.
Yeah, when I found out I had a third nipple, I was like, cool. But then the team from Acrash, and Buzzard told me I could get an almighty payout from the Almighty.
That'll work, won't it? They'll buy that.
Acrash, and Buzzard. The only lawyers you should put your face in to sue God. Because we didn't make you like this, he did. Or she.
Nah, it's a bloke.
Nick! Where the hell were you?
We've decided to take control of the narrative with this one, Angus.
Yeah, we are going to actively be aggressive. We're going to get everyone killed as quickly as possible, and maybe we can make this whole nightmare wrap up and be done with the series.
Sounds good.
Let's do it. Hide, run.
Oh shit! Oh my god, he's committing!
We gotta go, come on!
Nope. Nope.
Oh, this feels so wrong. This is the worst way to play video games.
Nope.
Oh, I love that shot though. How cool's that? Oh my god, it's like a fucking...
It's a Zack Snyder film.
Yes!
In your hop. Down the hole.
Down the hole.
You too, Taylor.
Down the hole.
I need to get out of here.
No, you don't.
Nope. Oh, no, yep, you do. Narratively, you needed to get out of that hole. This is fucking so weird! This is so weird! What the fuck?
Ponk. When you know it's time to mix business with bizness. Ponk. When you play 7 instruments, each one like the love child of Yo-Yo Ma and Santana. Ponk. When you're 1K from having a really problematic logo. Ponk. A fragrance for men, because you deserve to smell like a tin whistle.
Ponk. It's a good ad. Gus, explain what we saw a bit earlier in that ad break.
Well, we were mentioning that we've got a couple more episodes of the Scaredy Boys, which is Nick and myself playing Little Hope, a Dark Pictures anthology, which is an ongoing series. And we've gotten to the point, if you've watched the previous episodes, if not, head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/backpocket channel, and you can watch 3 episodes we've done thus far. And it is far more entertaining to watch than it is to play. In this case, we decided to stop playing altogether and see if we could just get some of the characters killed. Apparently that's not how it works either. Like, it was just, that game stumped us at every turn.
That was traumatizing.
It really was.
It felt so weird to not engage with the QuickTime events, but we got so... I think so the episode before that, there's a real slump in, like, us, where the game nearly beat us. I'm sure the episode will be fine, but like we just like gave up on this game, and then we finished, and it was like we gotta find the fun in this again, and Gus came up with the idea of like, let's just play aggressive, and therefore like because every time we engaged with the game, everyone survived, and it was like, well, that's not fun, so we stopped engaging with the game.
We started antagonizing each other based on, in the game, like the dialogue choices. We just chose randomly that one that just seemed like the dickish thing to do, and then not to...
But then in that first massive cutscene where we don't do any of the button prompts, there's like 10 of them, they both live, and we're just like... What is the point of this?
The episode before had some really powerful yawns. Some like angry, tired, upset yawns from the two of us that are happening while we're playing. Again, it will be hilarious to watch us in pain, but the feeling wasn't great.
But I remember in Until Dawn, there was like, because there's heaps of moments like that, but you'll get caught out with... I definitely tried to keep everyone alive in that game.
I don't know if we...
I didn't.
I don't know if we made a comment of it while we were playing, or maybe it was afterwards. It was just yesterday was a blur. But it was like, we did compliment the fact that Until Dawn had the schlocky teen nature to it.
Yeah.
And that the Man of Medan, the sequel to this, had a fantastic setting and a kind of cool, that was on a haunted boat with, again, some teenagers and some like modern day pirates. This one just baffled us. The dialogue and the characters are weird.
And the setting is kind of bland.
Choice, because I remember in Until Dawn, it was always like you can choose to like hide under the bed or like try and make a run for the corridor.
It's always just,
and it was making that wrong choice to determine whether you'd live.
There were like go left or right moments,
right?
But like it chooses one if you don't choose anything, which we found out.
But I think the difference, because I remember that in Until Dawn as well, and I feel like the difference is that in Little Hope, there's a lot of go left or go right, run or hide. And from memory, Until Dawn was literally like, hide under the bed or go do this thing. And you had some context of like, okay, if I go under the bed, like, is there somewhere I can get out of this room? Yeah. Whereas when it's just like run or hide, it's like, well, okay,
both
hide.
Are away.
You'll probably just hide somewhere really good as opposed to like hide in the cupboard. Okay, I'm making the choice that I'll hide here, but I can't get away if they find me. Like, and that's and so it removes that tension.
It's the same developers though?
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
interesting.
But
it's a different style of game in terms of the horror narrative they're telling. And if you watch to completion, so there's 3 more episodes I think to go. There's a payoff, and there's how we absorb that payoff. But again, it's
the real game was the friends we made along the way. Kizzy05 says, yeah, if they make it through, it will be interesting to see what they think of the ending. It will be interesting to see what we think. So we are wrapping up for our first stream back for 2021. A couple more housekeeping bits. A reminder that we have merch. It is available. If you go to redbubble.com/people/backpocket, that is a very stupid URL, but apparently that's just how it works.
Yep. And it's a hyphen, back-pocket.
Back-pocket, thank you very much.
We've got every variation of back pocket now, don't we? We have back_pocket, we have back pocket channel, we have regular back pocket, now we have back-pocket.
So our first 5 pieces of merch are available there. I've been keeping an eye on my email. We've been getting a lot of notifications from Redbubble, so you guys have been going there.
Complaints about the butt mug?
Yeah. The butt mug is the best piece that we sell. I'm looking forward to seeing what else comes up. I cannot wait for all of that as well.
Can I put out there as a dangle the carrot?
Your butt?
Look, no.
But in the post show.
But in post show, let's see. I'm going to check how that mug's doing, and depending on its popularity, more pockety butt might find its way into the show. Animated pockety butt might make its way into the show. You want to see that little
Flanders?
You want to see that little thing jiggle?
I do.
A little jiggle.
A little jiggle. We might
Can
see.
we spread the cheeks a bit?
Who knows? Let's just see how things go.
Little drug smuggling pockety.
You've got a bit of glue in your butt crack.
But yes, so let's see how successful certain elements of that are, and they could find themselves either being put on more merch. That is the other serious thing, though. Like, there are heaps more things in Redbubble we can attach and design things around. Yeah. So along with what Nick's about to talk about, we will hopefully update that store in the coming months.
And there will be some like other wearable things.
Totally, yeah.
Well.
We've got lots of ideas for this stuff. We just kind of like wanted to start with this, so it was kind of just like a small amount, and then see where we go.
But emote as well.
They're good. Yeah. There will be a Discord channel for your suggestions for merch of what you want to see, and also for your suggestions for what you want to see on the exclusive Patreon merch that you get by subscribing to the $35 tier or above, the brand new tier that we launched tonight, that every 3 consecutive months that you subscribe on that Patreon tier, you get sent a t-shirt, a hoodie, a bag, some kind of awesome bespoke custom merch. We were not selling that stuff anywhere else. We're going to design it live on stream. There is going to be a ton of effort put into this stuff. In jokes, so just like about this community, with this community. So, there could literally be a t-shirt about someone in this community as well.
I haven't flagged this, but one thing I do want to mention about that is like we're looking at that being a substantial piece of merch as well. Like I have to check how the Patreon system handles it, but we're not looking at doing like a sticker. Do you know what I mean? Like
yes.
It's a solid bit of merch. We're not going to shortchange the idea of like doing one 3-month run will be you will get a button like you got at the school fair or something like that. Like we're going to make sure.
There'll be hoodies and tees and long sleeve shirts and backpacks and stuff. But the goal for us is to work with you during the 3-month window that we have to update the next merch reward.
Yep.
We're going to work with you guys to make something really sick that you want, because there's no point in you being part of the tier if it's something that you don't want. Yeah. So like it's just going to be like a really community driven thing, which
based off the 15 subs from LokiCat and the 10 from Nicrotex, I think our first one should be the 5 of us as we're all strippers. Like pole dancing, and those 2 guys are making it rain Twitch subs just up on us.
As long as I can then incorporate our aforementioned pre-made pocketies.
Oh yeah,
with a bit of pockety.
I think it should be a completely photorealistic picture of us, but we all have blue little cartoon butts.
I love that the transition 2020 was feet, 2021 butt stuff.
Yeah. Can only go up from here.
There was still a couple of questions in the chat about how that 3-month period works. We'll give you the official Patreon information. It is a little bit confusing, but you only need to be part of the tier by the end of the month, like during this billing period. So we've got all of February to build that design, and you don't even need to do it until the 28th of Feb. Switch up to that, and you'll have made that first month clear. So if you're unsure about it now, let's just don't move to that tier yet, and you'll see more about what it is tomorrow and over the coming weeks.
Yeah. And once again, for anyone who missed it, anyone on the tiers above will also get access to that.
Totally. And the way that our Patreon works is that when you subscribe, that is when you're billed. So you classify as the billing cycle of the month that you subscribe, not for the next month. And if you already subscribe at a lower tier, it would just bill you the difference to go up to that tier. So you're not paying twice.
Camel Rage wants to know, is postage included?
Yes.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Yep. The reason we're going through Patreon is because, that automates the whole thing. That you'll be prompted through their system, as Nick mentioned, to pick sizes if it's a item of clothing, and you fill out your details there, and it'll go through. That doesn't deal with us.
We don't touch it. It just comes to you.
I can't fuck that up.
And so then also on the Patreon as well. Sorry, because we've launched a few more shows. We've got some more content, and we're doing some game streams and stuff. It also means that we now officially something that a few people have been asking for. There are no expectations, but we have opened up a couple more spots in the $250 tier, which means you get to own a segment. So you get to be your LokiCats, your Nicrotexes, your Slowpunks, your Rajas, these people, Avexia, who get shout-outs every time we do your segment, who get to really own a piece of the show. We are so thankful for the huge support where they basically come on as almost mini producers of the show.
Your Tims
as well. And so we have opened up 2 more tiers of that as well, so that you can go there and subscribe there if you want, because we have more content, because we love making this stuff for you that can be owned as well. Rounding out the evening, you mentioned it before, but we're going to be back on Tuesday as well.
Yes, we are doing finally getting everyone together from Good Game. That includes Rad, that includes Jem, Little Will, everyone here on this couch, Gog, Barjo, obviously.
Annoying one.
And we're all going to do
the only entertaining one.
We're going to do a big Among Us stream. Somebody asked about Hingers. We did ask Hingers.
We're still TBC.
TBC.
Hopefully.
But hopefully. We definitely asked him. I think it's just his availability and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a big Among Us stream on Tuesday night. I think it's at 7:30.
7:30 is when we've.
And I think we're just going to be streaming it on all of our channels. So we'll be streaming it on Back Pocket.
Yep.
We'll be streaming. I'll stream it. And then anyone else who has a channel who wants to stream it will do that also.
I imagine if you want to watch that, you want to ping around and see people's perspectives and stuff like that. But we will be putting it through our channel. I think I put my hand up to be the face of that one because I'm a terrible liar.
You'll be fun to watch. Yeah.
I'm excited for that because I have never played that game.
Neither.
Yeah. So this is my first experience of playing Among Us.
Foray into the espionage and subterfuge.
No, just Among Us.
Oh shit.
And it'll be fun to get the band back together to do something. You know, we'd love, obviously, Barjo and everyone, and it's great to be able to. Barjo obviously is in Adelaide, so we don't get to see him physically that often, but it's cool to be able to do streams and stuff with him. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah. That's not the only thing we're streaming next week, though, because we're almost back in full swing. We will have news and the new news format on Monday, right here on twitch.tv/back_pocket. And we're pumped to roll out the format tweak and get everything rolling there. Wednesday we have a big low-key shoot, so we won't be able to do the news in the morning, unfortunately. Super annoying that it's the first week we wanted to start back proper. But we've got Tuesday stream, Monday stream, Tuesday stream, Wednesday, Thursday this show, Friday. Who knows?
Who knows what could happen?
It's a wild world.
Yeah. So there will still be plenty of content coming for you next week. Coming for you. I mean, coming to you, coming at you.
Well, it is the end of the night.
I don't mean it's going to be like coming on you. I don't know.
Well,
like
that's
it's
a nice
just going to
segue
be
into the fact that we do have a post show coming up.
Thank you very much. The post show is coming up. That's what we're actually heading to now. It's been a while, but remember, you just need to access the post show. You just need to go to our Discord. The link is posted in the Discord, the private link for the post show.
Post show, which is now sponsored by
Raj.
Good old mate Raj now owns the post show. And we know that if you know anything about the show's history, if you know anything about Raj, anything he touches turns to shit.
Yep.
In terms of what we make. Anything he touches that's ours.
Yeah.
And the post show is the thing that already, I think, is our lowest hanging fruit.
We're trying to air gap it from the money
He's a very nice man.
He's the most lovely man I've met in the longest amount of time.
So
but
was
again,
Satan, apparently.
but when it comes to like affecting our show, it tends to like break parts of it. And we thought the post show is one that, you know, that's where we dabble with chaos.
If we're going to get ourselves cancelled, it's going to be in the post show, and Raj should really be a part of that.
That's
Damn
true.
right.
That's true.
And a reminder, we are rolling out some of our content in podcast form as well. It's on the YouTube channel, but if you want to support us, then head to your podcast platform of choice, search for Pocket Watch, 2 words, and it's made by Back Pocket Studios. Subscribe there and leave us a review, like a 5-star and a review helps enormously with this stuff to be able to lift us to the top of the algorithm charts. Yeah. And then more people will be able to come in, and you know, like it all just rolls. It's just a rolling natural harvest feast.
There it is.
Yeah.
Natural harvest. That's the cum book.
That's the cum book. You would know that if you watch the post show. We're backing it out. We'll see you all again next week. Bye.